All right, the countdown has begun, or has ended, I should say, and you've tuned in to Playing in Traffic with your hosts, Louis Lee, Ray Guarino from Motor Mouth Radio, and our special guest tonight, Luke Tucker from EZRED.
All right. Happy holidays, guys.
Happy holidays. So how's it going, Luke? First off, your company, your grandfather started this company in 1966.
Yep.
Man, that's incredible to be able to go that far back or keep a business in the family that long. So
yeah, usually they say the third generation ruins it. So let's hope let's hope they're wrong here, right?
Right. So give us a little background of what you do.
Yeah, so like you said, my grandfather started the company back in 1966. He was a independent tool jobber. You know, he had a Volkswagen van. And he was a salesman. He went around and sold spark plugs, ignitions, tools. He was really into energy, like battery power. My grandpa actually had an electric car in the 80s, which, I mean, they're just
wow. Really,
we know they're just big golf carts, but still there wasn't electric cars. Like, they're becoming popular now. He had one in 83, I think. It was called a city car. But anyway, a lot of battery-related products on his truck, on the Volkswagen van. And one of them happened to be the battery hydrometer to test your specific gravity, your battery, see where the charge is. He also had antifreeze hydrometers to see where your temperature was good for your antifreeze. Now, all of us know what the hydrometer does. But back then in the 60s, it was a glass tube with all different kinds of gauges in it. And I'm pretty sure, we all know what a technician will do in glass in a shop. I mean, it's going to last about 30 seconds, right?
Right.
So he was always selling them, but he was so upset because they were breaking. And he's like, well, this is a bad design. So he got together with an engineer. They came up with what is now our SP-101 and SP-102. They almost look exactly like they did in the 60s. They designed a new hydrometer. Real simple. They made it ABS plastic instead of glass. So when you dropped it, it wouldn't break. And they took 4 gauges, made them 1 gauge so you can read the dial gauges. Just so his sales pitch when he was selling out of his route, he started to sell to corporates. He went to Snap-on, to Allied Tools, which is now Mac and Matco. And his sales pitch was, hey guys, this is so much easier to read. And he sold them. And when he started buying the injection molding machine, coming up with the business, he said easy to read so much, he called the company EZRED, kind of like a play on words. And now fast forward almost 60 years later, my father and I are in the business together. We have a partner who's helped us grow a lot, Bob and his son, Frank. They've partnered up with us. Bob and my father have been working together for 20 plus years. And we're just having a lot of fun selling tools and coming up with new ideas. And, we're growing every year. We're really, I mean, how lucky am I? I'm selling awesome stuff, and I'm working with my dad and some friends. It's just I'm blessed. It's excellent. We love it.
I love the history of that and the fact that the family can work together. And I gotta ask, how did you become the media guy?
Really, I mean, as you can see, Ray, it's my good looks, mainly, and my awesome personality. No, I mean, I guess I became kind of the face of the company. I do most of our traditional sales. I mean, we've got another part of the business that does retail. We're in the Home Depot and Lowe's and some bigger box stores, and that's not really my territory. But our traditional sales, the mobile tools, the hard parts and the part stores, that's me. So, right. Everybody's got to be good at something. I guess I'm good at interpersonal, getting along with people and chatting up. Like I said, I love it. I mean, I don't get to sell like pharmaceuticals or pillows or something. I sell tools, and it's fun. And it's, and my family started the business. So how could you not love it and be passionate about it and want to just talk about it forever,
Well, you could or couldn't, because I know plenty of businesses. I know some people personally that had family businesses for a couple generations. And then you hear like by the 3rd generation or the 4th, like, no, those kids now went to school. The other parents got smart and said, hey, you're going to school. You're not doing what I did. You're going to go to school, get a college education. Right. And now they don't want to run the pizzeria or the deli or the hardware store or whatever it is, the repair shop.
Well, yeah, I think my father, my grandfather had it, and like I said, he was into the energy. He loved the battery part of it. So once the hydrometers kicked off, he started getting, we had like a 500 amp load tester and cables, clamps. You know, he bought a business in the 80s. It was series battery chargers. And my father came in and expanded it to where he could. And then he partnered up with Bob, and I came in about right when Bob did, but Bob and his son Frank took the company to the next level. We got into this, you know, inventive. We hired industrial designers, and what keeps EZRED unique and what keeps the business so fresh, and for me, just like looking forward to every day, is we actually design products. We don't shelf shop and go find something existing over in Asia and change a label, change a color, and call it ours. We have over 20 patents. We've got a handful of industrial designers, and we come up with ideas. We 3D print them, we troubleshoot them, and we come out with a product. So when I'm out selling it, I can be like, man, I remember that day when, you know, we came up with that idea. Like the neck light, you know, it's like, right. I honestly thought a neck light, that sounds like a novelty. And I mean, we've sold hundreds of thousands of them, and it's like, well, not so much a novelty. It's the best item we've ever had, and it's so handy, and I use it all the time. So,
and I know previously to the neck light, actually my co-host on the radio show, Chris, had given me a headlight. Yeah, with an elastic strap. And I said, I'm not going to wear that stupid thing. Look like a dick working on my God.
Yeah.
I said, no, I ain't doing that. And he swore about it. I said, I guess so. And there was a fellow at the auto parts store by me who had a pair of reading glasses that had little LEDs on the side that he could turn on. I said, where'd you get those? He got them on Canal Street down in the city.
Oh, yeah.
And it was funny because years
prior, bargained for him.
One of my old co-hosts had given me at Christmas. They were sold through Sears, through Craftsman. It was just a pair of glasses.
Steelman made them.
Okay, it was just glasses with the bridge, but there were no lenses, and there were you could adjust. There were two LEDs on each side that you could turn, and I loved those things. I said, you could work on it, and that was the preview to the neck light, which of course, as we all know, I wear it on my head, and just work on stuff.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. Really?
Well, now, do they sell your neck light at Home Depot?
We've designed a version of it for Home Depot. Yeah, they do.
Okay.
AA batteries, not rechargeable, but it's they do have that in Home Depot and Lowe's, using their names. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
what Chris has is our professional. It's somebody like myself, I'm going to use, I hunt, so I'm going to use it in the morning when I go in. I don't use the neck light all the time. My buddy owns a body shop. He doesn't take it off his neck. He's got it on and sometimes he leaves it on and just works so he's going to spend the money and buy the rechargeable version.
Right.
Because he'd be spending hundreds of dollars a year in just AA batteries.
Right.
Or a guy like myself, I like the AA batteries. So after 7 months, when it starts to get bad, I just pop the batteries in, and you get a new one.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there's a great, if you leave a light in the car or whatever, and it goes down. I mean, you may not have a charging cable, so the batteries are great. And Lewis, this is also, I have a second one. If you look, who makes that one?
Oh, Mecca. Okay.
Yeah.
So these get rebranded for the tool company. So it is the same. Great. Actually, I noticed, and I did notice today that the light is different. This is a rectangular design, and this is a square design.
Yeah, we get together with the Matco engineers, and they help us out with their design, and and that's one thing I do is go over, meet with them, and talk about how they want to have. This is our concept, and then Matco kind of Matcoizes it, and
right,
they come up with their product. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to go buy one from Home Depot, but I'll buy it from Brian. I'll really give him the business.
Yeah. Brian's definitely got them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, our EZRED products can be bought in almost any. The mobile tool trucks, they all have them. Auto parts stores have them. We've got our own Amazon shop. So just look for the EZRED brand, or if you want a neck light, the patent we have is so strong on it, you pretty much find one. It's ours.
On Sunday, Brian was on Brian and Luke were on Motormouth Radio this past Sunday. You can check it on motormouthradio.com. And I mentioned my favorite EZRED light, and this is it. This baby right here. This thing, Lewis, it'll give you, it's got an end to it, and you can dim it which is come on, dim down. But magnet on the back, magnet on the back, magnet on the bottom, the hook.
Nice.
And it just feels good in your hand. This light feels so good in your hand.
Yeah, it's solid. And it's kind of cool how we took those LEDs and, the technology's changed so much from those individual small diodes or bigger diodes that you had to have 50 of them to get brightness. That's a COB. They're just little chips.
Technology. Correct.
They're little chips we talked to the factories and with the engineers, and I said, can we advertise with the lights? Can we make our name the actual board? And we did. So it's kind of like a subliminal advertising. The light is actually our name. I mean, It's not like the Batman symbol. It just comes out as a light, but it's still pretty cool.
When they came out with cob technology, that's chip on board is what that stands for.
Right on. Yep.
That really just blew the LED market out of the water, because instead, like I said, instead of the individual lights, now they had an array. And Lewis, that's what what's his name from the LED from the that guy.
Radiance LEDs.
Radiance LEDs, maybe the taillights and the same idea. When you put those things together in an array, man, like I said, small planes follow me when I hit the brake lights. They think,
it's crazy. You go to some of these factories and, Mopar has their high beam chip. It's absolutely the size of a BB.
Oh yeah.
But like you said, you could land an airplane with it. It's amazing,
right. Yeah, it really is.
But our struggle and why we're good at what we do is we find out you can get the brightest light in the world, you still have to power it, right? You're not going to plug it in anymore. Guys don't want it plugged in. They're going to trip over the cord. They want it cordless,
right?
But the battery has to be small fitting so you can have a handheld one. You can't just get this giant battery. So you have to find that happy medium of runtime and power, because you don't want it to run for, there's some of these companies that say, yeah, our lights are 10,000 lumens and it runs for 6 hours off of a nickel metal hydride 3.6 volt battery. And it's like, wait a minute, you can Google that and figure out that it runs for 32 seconds if that was the truth.
Yeah, you can look at the amp hour rating and figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Do a little bit of math.
Yeah, Mitch from
Mitch.
Radiance.
Yes. Yeah. But I figured this way: if guys knowing how guys deal with instructions, they're not going to do a little bit of math and figure out amp hours versus volts. And
instructions are just another man's opinion, right?
I really do read the directions. My wife's like, "Oh, yeah, put it together." I'm like, "Wait a minute, I got to read directions."
I sit there, and I got to tell you something, Luke. We take clips from the show as they occur. It's not always weekly. We like to get clips from our guests, and Chris is a master at stringing them together and making a promo. And cool. It's really all the guests talking, not us. So he did just make a new one, and we're going to debut it not this Sunday, but in January, the first week of January. Okay, and you're in it because
all right.
I sent him a clip from the end of the show. I forget what the hell we were talking about. That was kind of funny. And I said, there's a clip in the beginning, but I didn't grab it because we were all kind of talking. And it's when you said that about instructions, where it's just,
another man's opinion,
just an opinion. Well, he grabbed it and he put it in the promo.
That's cool.
That's yeah. I'll send you a copy of it when
as I got older, I learned, hey, you got to read these directions, man, because you waste a lot of time. You know what I mean? Like putting stuff together.
Yeah, I'll never forget that lesson. I don't know. Maybe you guys had it too, but I don't even know what grade it was. Maybe 6th or 7th grade. It was about reading instructions. The instructions were write your name on this piece of paper.
Right.
End of instruction. And then there was 4 million questions, and they were impossible things. So everybody in the classroom is like, they can't figure out the questions. They're raising their hand. The teacher's like, just read the instructions and do the assignment.
Uh-huh.
Well, we can't. We don't even know what this means. Read the instructions and do the. All you had to do was write your name and you were done.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have to read instructions. It is important.
Now I'll say this because I am an instruction reader. I actually, part of one of my jobs was as a technical writer. I had to write instructions or write parts of instructions for people. So I learned how to do that, and it's kind of tedious work because you have to assume the person reading them knows nothing, and it can be it's a whole nother way of thinking. But Lewis, the problem I have now is I take instructions out of whatever it is. God help me if I don't even IKEA is like, of course, we know that's the worst. And now you try to figure out how they took their native language, wherever it was, and converted it to English.
Yep.
And a lot of these companies do not do a good job of it.
No, they don't. It's funny.
You know?
Yeah.
That's the worst.
No, we bought our laser engraver from a factory in Taiwan, and it was it was a good deal, but unfortunately, and we didn't think about this, everything, the writing, all the instructions is all in Mandarin.
Right.
So we had to get it translated, and the translation is not real good English, so it was just a struggle to figure it out. And
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I actually have I bought a ultrasonic cleaner. I had my wife buy for me for Christmas, but I took the directions out because I wanted to go through it first. And I mean, it's an ultrasonic cleaner. What's the big deal? But still, I'm going to read through them. And I actually started highlighting lines of text that were translated. And I'm going to use it on the show as an example of, how instructions are not, it's not what you always think they are. They're kind of poor. And sometimes it, like in this case, it wasn't misleading or didn't not tell you how to use the device. It's just the way that they use the words. And let's face it, I think if there's any language in the world that I wouldn't want to have to learn as a second language, it would be English. I mean, I think I'd rather learn Mandarin or Russian, because the way we say things and we have so many different usages and inflections on words, and and I've known people who came from other countries, and learned English, and for the first couple of years, all you do is goof on them because they don't get the joke,
Right.
And then they slowly catch on, and they still say, but I still don't understand why you guys say this. Like, I know.
Neither do we.
Well, then you get into the dialects and how we really bastardize. I mean, and of course, being from New York, I get that whenever I travel. Like, oh yeah, you must be from New York.
It's funny. People be like, you don't sound like you're from New York. I'm like, no, I'm not from that part of New York. I'm from upstate. I don't have the accent.
Right. That part. That's like when I talked to Clay Kuhn down in Mississippi. We had him on the show a few weeks ago, and he had the best line of all. He says, "Yeah, Ray," he says, I said, when I first met you, I had to like figure out your language, And he says, "Yeah," he goes, "The best way is if I could slow you down and you could speed me up."
Right. Yeah, that's funny.
Exactly.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
We got a couple of questions over in the chat. Papa Squirrel wants to know, how long does the hand lights last?
So that's a great question, because we go to trade shows, and we've been like the evolution of these handheld lights. That light that you showed, Ray, is the 4th generation. Back in the early 2000s, I think 05, 06, EZRED and UView were the first. We were the first two to come out with cordless handheld lights. And with the batteries and the technology, I mean, they were selling for like $120 a piece. Yeah. And they were like 100 lumens. They had 30 of the inexpensive Chinese LEDs, and they were just, right now they seem like an old relic, but it was state of the art back then.
Yeah,
right.
And that was the question. It was like, how long is it going to last, and how bright is it? And so the 5th generation, we've realized it's so important to people. Like, and I see somebody else has another question, or they have a statement about sometimes the lowest level, like 500 lumens, which that's what that light is. That is bright.
That is.
So like if you're up close and personal working on something, that's too bright. So like he says there, the lowest setting, usually it's click 1, low setting, click 2, high setting, click 3 is off. That's how we had it with the switches.
Uh-huh.
So we realized, like, well, let's just make a dimmable switch. That way, wherever somebody's comfortable at, if you want to keep it on low, that'll last for 30 hours.
Yeah.
With those 4.6 volt, 41860 batteries, it's like perfect. But if you want it high, like you can dim it up, and it'll last not as long. But so it's right now it's kind of a on full high, which is 500 lumens. That light will last for 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's still
Which is
good.
a pretty good time. I mean, you can charge it at your lunch break and whatnot. But normally people say, like, hey, I turn it on full blast and then I dim it down for like 2 seconds and it's perfect. And it lasts all day.
Yeah, many times, like I've gotten under a dashboard with either that light or the neck light on my head, and it's just, whoa, it's too bright because you're too close, and the dimming feature is a godsend. It's like,
Yeah, it's cool. And we were the first ones to come out with that dimming feature on cordless products.
I just remembered in the next room, I have an old light. It's a snap-on LED light, and it's an older one, with the individual LEDs. And I know, like, when I turn that on now compared to the new ones, I say, is this thing charged?
Funny, right? Yeah.
It's and it's only I have it maybe 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
It's crazy. We came out with the pocket light, the PCOB. We designed it back in 08 and 50 lumens. And it was a little handheld pocket light that was 50 lumens. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Now it's 175 lumens, and it's just, I mean, it's so much brighter, but now that's the standard,
Right.
Okay, where can I find the pocket one? Because I got this pocket one, and it's too big. It hits my phone, cracks the glass, all kind of mess.
Well, our pocket one is a little bigger. It's actually plastic, and it's the part number is a EZRED PCOB. PCOB, and we've got PCOB-O is orange, -G is green.
Is this one?
No, that's
a little bigger than just pocket. It's
that's a brand that we've gotten a license from, the Real Tree brand. We also have the Caterpillar global license, so Caterpillar lights.
Yeah.
And we do have, if you look on the website EZRED.com, you can go through. And at the bottom, there's a link to our cat page. It's catlights.com. And I believe the part number is a 2210, CT2210. It's a little pocket light, AA or AAA batteries. Super nice. Fits right in your front pocket here. And that's the smallest one we have. There you go. And that's our friend Sheldon. Sheldon is a friend of the family. Actually went to Ohio State. He's a doctor, and he went overseas to, I'm not going to pretend it was a third world country, to help out. And we sent him some of those lights, and he went over to help these young kids, and that's what he used to do all of his medical practice. So it was kind of cool to put on our page.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Do you do any gun lights?
No, but I do clean my gun with an older light we have that was on a telescopic antenna. We actually discontinued it just because the technology got old. But no, we don't have gun lights. But I've cleaned my muzzle loader just the other day with one of those with the neck light, because you just position it right and you can see right down the whole muzzle, and it works great. Wow,
a muzzle loader. That's history.
That's real, man.
Well, these are inline muzzle loaders, and they're not flintlock, but it's not like a high-powered rifle anymore, but it takes a 50 caliber ball, and pretty fun to hunt with.
So I've never fired one of those. I'm sure it doesn't have the kick and recoil of a gas system or a cartridge, but it's got is it a little like slower and smoother?
Well, like the flintlock is slower because you have to measure the powder. The kick is all about the gunpowder you put in.
Yeah.
These inline muzzleloaders, they have pellets of gunpowder that are pre-measured, and they're pellets. So they're 50 grains a piece. Yeah. I put in 2 pellets, so 100 grains, and a 50 caliber, like a sabot on top of it. Push it down with the ramrod, and then cock the hammer back and fire it. You have to put a primer in there too, but it's modern. It's not measuring the powder, putting it in a little thing and screwing it up, and it doesn't take. You can reload in probably 30 seconds instead of like 10 minutes, like a minute. So, but yeah, no, it's fun. It's if you some people put 150 grains, and that sets you back, against your shoulder. But the 100 grains, my neighbor's 13-year-old can shoot it.
That's what I mean. I had the impression that it's like a slower and more of a push than a jolt is how I.
No, it's about the same as a 12 gauge, really. With
Right. So you're using that for just sport. You're not hunting with that thing, are you?
Oh yeah, yep. We have a muzzleloader season. In New York, there's bow season in October, and then it goes into rifle. And then now is muzzleloader season, where you can also use your bow, but it's the muzzleloader. You shoot a rifle, you can kill a deer at 300 yards with your scope, and if you're good, you know what you're doing.
Right.
Muzzleloader, you're good for maybe 50 to 100 yards. It's more of a challenge, and the deer have been chased around all season. So it is challenging, but it's fun, you know?
Yeah. What's the velocity on something like that? Like,
So that's what I don't like about the muzzle loaders is if you have a little bit more distance, the bullet doesn't penetrate enough, and the deer could suffer. And you really need to get up close because it's such a big sabot and a high the power is not.
Well, what's the muzzle velocity? Like, what's it leave the barrel at? Do you know?
I don't know that, but it's significantly slower than a rifle bullet.
Oh hell yeah, it's because you have rifling and those things will get you out
right. And they can rifle out the muzzles of a muzzle loader, but it's still that big ball isn't going through. And they try to shape them, and they make they try to make it modern so it's faster and stuff, but it's still a muzzle loader, and it
Yeah, Tyler says a shoulder cannon.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I guess it's akin to a shotgun slug. That's about a 50 caliber size.
Pretty much, yep. And but that's got all kinds of beads and pellets in it, that spread out or however the choke is. This is just,
big ball,
like a slug, a solid lead slug.
I think I actually have one. No, I don't have it here.
You ever fly one of those, Lewis? Have you ever had the?
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Well, that's fun.
Now I have to. I'm at the call some of the fellas.
Lewis.
Yeah. Okay, we're at the half hour
mark
of the hour. So we'll get the fellas to jump in and people ask you some questions.
Awesome.
There's our other guy. Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Josh.
How you doing? What's up, guys?
What's happening?
Toolman.
Brian.
Let go.
Luke, what's up?
Hi, brother. How are you, man?
Doing so good. These are the homies that hang out with us every week.
All right. What's going on, guys?
Now, it ends up that Justin Ebbets, he caught COVID, so he's sick. He won't be around tonight. He's recovering. So, yeah, I told him I'd give him a mention. So
he got it from PRI.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So did Dwayne Maddox.
Did he?
Yeah.
Dwayne Maddox got home that Sunday, and he was sick.
Oh.
You still pitched you didn't go, John?
No. I'm cool.
Well, me and Tyler were there. We didn't get it.
Right.
Well, you
not
got
yet. Don't worry.
Good immunity.
We're all going to get it. That's what the man said. We're all going to get it.
We're all going to get it.
The winter season of death.
Season of death. Yeah, those were encouraging words from our leader for sure.
Oh, I didn't hear that beauty. Yeah.
Oh, he's the best. He's amazing.
I have a friend that works for the county at the school bus lot, and in the letter was basically you can live and have a happy life if you get vaccinated, but other than that, you're going to have a cold, slow, miserable winter of death.
Yeah,
you don't. And that's basically how it came out, and it had the White House logo. This came from the man upstairs about what's just going to be miserable and day of death if you don't get the shot, but you can have rainbows and unicorns afterwards.
Yeah, you're going to win the lottery and all that stuff if you get the.
Are you sure he just wasn't talking about people who are going to be getting married this year?
Did you ever think you'd be living in a country where there was nothing but pure propaganda and bullshit coming from upstairs?
I was just in the mall tonight with my daughter doing some Christmas shopping, and we went to the calendar kiosk because my wife likes this one calendar we get every year. And they were training this new guy in the register, and there was a fellow in front of me, regular looking guy. And the guy there says, you have a card, right? He goes, card. He goes, what? Cash is no good? And he says, well, no, we're using cards, not cash. I'm like, oh, I was going to pay with cash too. And he says, what's the matter with cash? So the kid says, well, yeah, I can't make change. Now, I don't know if that meant he can't make change or he had no change to make with. He probably couldn't do it.
Both.
Either.
Well, it's probably the company policy because there's germs now on money, and you want that touchless transaction. It's ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah, yet every single bank I go into claims there's a national coin shortage.
Right.
Still, after 2 years.
I'm like, all right, well, you don't want to accept stuff and you don't want to make change, so get rid of the sign. Because there's
and I actually have an acquaintance on Facebook who works at the Mint in Denver and said that they've been going 3 shifts for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no shortage of anything.
Well,
You know, and,
anyway,
You know, the worst part about the whole thing is, I mean, I've got 3 young kids, 15, 12, and 8, and you know, they've missed so much school, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And my daughter's a straight A student. My sons take after me. They're like a C. But my daughter's grades have just dropped because she says, Dad, I can't, like, this is how she does her classroom, like this, like how we're doing
on Zoom. Yeah.
right.
just not, it doesn't work.
Luke,
doesn't.
you want to hear something funny? My youngest, Emma, unfortunately, a lot like me, and in the C department, that is.
Yeah.
But this was before COVID. She was, skating on very thin ice.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, we all get the lockdown and we get into this type of learning. And she has done a 250-degree turnaround and she has exploded. And like right now, she's upstairs reading a book. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would never have been able to get her to do that.
Yeah.
And every one of her teachers has said, "What did you guys do?" So it's amazing how each student is different that way.
It is. And I think I have heard that. I have a buddy of mine who's like, I think I'm going to keep my daughter out of school because she's just doing so much better. But I think the majority are like, and they want to see their friends. They want to be kids. They want to play sports. Sure. They just I coach all the youth sports, and they just shut down our basketball program. Well, because I live in New York and it's a ridiculous state when it comes to rules like that, but it's ridiculous. I mean, first of all, they make the 8-year-olds wear masks playing basketball, which
that's a health issue right there.
No, that's right.
Yep.
What are they doing? These kids start keeling over on the court.
Yeah.
Someone posted a screenshot where their kid in their school book had been drawing masks on all the cartoon children because they looked weird without the mask.
Right? Yeah. I saw a meme the other day that was funny. It was these 2 mice that came into the hole and they had these masks and they're like, look at all these hammocks everybody's throwing away.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that same one.
It's funny.
Oh.
Well,
it's a crazy world we're living in, guys.
It's affecting different people different ways. I was coming up I-75 this afternoon, and there's a new exit going in. So the bridge is already bridge spans across the highway. So the construction crew is up there doing what they're doing. And there's a guy walking the steel outside, and he's wearing a mask.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I still see him. I still see plenty of people in their cars driving around, masked, and it's 40 degrees, but they got hats and gloves and coats. Like, what? Don't you have heat in that car? Like, what the hell? I'm wearing this in 30-degree weather. And
I got questioned today because where's your jacket? And all I have is a t-shirt on. But unfortunately, Luke, I was going to bring some show and tell.
Yeah,
but I've sold out everything, so
that's
good. That's a good thing.
Those neck lights went fast, and
the holiday season is there's a big push for them, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, my last stop, I had a guy goes, man, I need some gifts, and I had I think I had 3 of the neck lights still hanging up, and he's like, I'll take those, and of course I had one of each flavor, red, green, and orange, and.
How much do those run?
I don't know. I'll let you know, Lewis. I can hook you up. That's not a problem.
Brian, who makes this light for you?
That one.
See it. That's EZRED.
Is it EZRED?
Yeah.
This is my second favorite light. It's like
I have those sitting right up by my cash register or my checkout. And those things just go left and right. I can't keep them.
This is a fantastic light for the size. The power this thing has is unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's handy and it flips out. It's kind of cool.
Right.
Back in the day, back in one of the earlier lights we had, it was an FL 1701. Remember when the flip lights were the thing back in like the 2006, 7, 8? The flip phone. Everybody had a phone, I forget what it was, not the Cobra, but whatever it was called. It flipped out. Razor. So we designed FL flip light, and it was like, it was like that phone, but you opened it up and all the lights turned on. It was like a refrigerator door. The switch was up against the one side.
Like
like Ray's phone.
except it doesn't have a light.
No.
And between those lights and my
Your scrapers,
our scrapers here,
That's a hefty looking piece.
this one's like I said, I sell these. This one actually, I put a plastic razor blade in because this is what takes off my
Gaskets.
decals.
Oh, okay.
Decals on my trade-ins. Little WD-40 and a scrape, and you don't scratch the paint.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's a handy one.
Cleaning gaskets off of heads and stuff.
Yeah.
Working,
And my personal still,
ends
this
on a
one is
manifold.
discontinued, but this one was
Okay.
Yeah, that's we talked about that the other night, the 1000.
and this was
The UV light.
with the UV in it.
Oh, nice.
Like I
Brian,
said.
we just launched a new item with you. I don't know if you're on that sampling program, but I think it's an MBS1, MMBS1. It's a magnetic mat.
Oh yeah. I've got one on the truck.
Okay, that's ours.
Yeah, I've got one of those, and you had another one also.
Now, what is the map? Hold on, you throw out the name. What does it do?
It's go on, Luke. It's
your
show.
It's a 11 by 8 magnetic mat that it's made of a certain type of plastic, and it's got neodymium magnets in it. You can fold it up into like a ruler size, put it in your pocket, and it's flexible and bendable. So if you're like, you're repairing a ratchet in your truck, you can lay that out, repair the ratchet, put all the springs and all the parts on it. The magnets will hold it, put it back together, and it's just handy. It's like a little tray, a magnetic tray that's portable and that folds up. You can bend it around a wheel well, and it'll stick. You can stick stuff on it. It's a cool magnetic mat that's flexible.
Is that the one that Michael's wife showed Brian on a video about a week ago?
Quite possible.
I think it was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was.
Yeah,
and like we have a problem. Ray, we once talked about, back in the day when you had a regular fender cover and the fenders were kind of square, they hung on the car. Yeah. And then of course when they started getting, egg shaped or round, or they have a different. You put a fender cover on it, it would slide right off or fall. And that's one thing about like that magnetic thing. You can put that on there, and like you said, it's going to hold your wrench, or it's going to hold the bolts that you took off, like if you're changing a battery or something, or anything. Instead of, because there's no place to set it unless you set it in the engine compartment. We all know it all falls down in the motor compartment someplace. And then you're getting the car back together, not put together. So, like I said, that those flexible mats, like you said, are awesome. Actually, I think when I got it in, somebody bought it already. I don't.
Yeah. So you're part of that. I forget what they used to call it, like the sampling program, but you sign up for it, and you don't order it if like the category manager says it's really cool, you're just going to automatically be the first ones to get it.
Right. I'm at they have 3 different levels, like $100 level or a $200, and I maxed mine out. So
you might as well, right? You never know.
Well, it's for us on the business end, it's no I'm trying to think of the word, but it's no issue on sending it back. If we don't sell it,
right,
we don't get charged restocking fee or anything like that. No risk. That's what it is. So
well, and sometimes that's cool because we've designed products where we were sure, like our Hood Hawk light with the under hood with the clamp and the whole thing, and boy, we thought we were counting the money before we start, and we couldn't give them away. It just didn't. It didn't compute to the market, and it's like, and so sometimes it's just the opposite. It's like, well, the neck light, gosh, it seems like a novelty. I guess we'll try it. I mean, look at it. You never know. I mean, your opinion is one thing, but your customers are really, so you never know. You might as well be part of that program. You never know what's going to sell.
Yeah, that's why I do market research and focus groups, and that's one of the things I do. They call me a couple times a year to do focus groups, and I've done everything from flooring to like ring dings and.
Oh, wow.
One of the big problems though also, and I even fall into this category, is a lot of times you have to show the customer. Just like we were talking about when you get a brand new item and you got to pull that tag so that the batteries are connected. You would think that, and like you said, yours are really good because you have a big yellow tag sitting there, like we move, to pull this. And I go in the next week and they say, hey, I charged this thing up for 3.5 days and it doesn't work. And I'm like, well, did you remove the tag? What
did
tag?
you read the instructions?
This big yellow thing in front of you, and of course, again, I get. I was afraid that it would break, or I didn't want to break it, or
when I used to sell them on my tool trucks,
it was very, very nice to get a cord.
You don't have
you can plug both ends of it in, and then the other end into your USB device. So you don't have to do one side at a time. You get a Y cord, which in itself is
it's pretty handy.
When I would sell,
that was from your neck light.
Yeah. What was that, Tyler?
When I would sell EZRED lights off of my tool truck a couple years ago, a lot of guys, they would just snip the tag instead of pull it.
Oh no!
People will do the they had that show on TV, right? Kids say the smartest things. They should have mechanics will do the dumbest things.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Guy can map do a fuel map on on an engine, and he can do high level diagnostics, but he can't figure out how to make a light work.
It's true.
It's crazy.
Yeah, hey, I was going to ask you, Luke, the under hood like clamp lights.
Yeah.
Those see, I would use that all the time, but they're hard to find. You guys still sell those? Or no?
We still do. Yep. XLU, HLS. I think the problem was it was a marketing thing that we did wrong. It was one of probably 3 mistakes I've ever made in my life. So it's weird, but no, it's we thought, boy, these 6-foot under hood lights are really selling great for $200 a piece. But who wants to have a 6-foot light? How are you going to fit that in your toolbox? Where are you going to store it? Who wants to pay $200 for it? So we thought and we designed this. It took forever, but like I said, we were ready to rule the world with it. We had a clamping system that you could and there was a 1,000 lumen light. You put the light on the clamp. You could pull down on the spring piece, pull the light off the clamp. It also came with a handheld, like a pistol grip. You could put that same light on the pistol grip. So it was an interchangeable system. We called it the Hood Hawk, the under hood light. We limited ourselves because, and from then, I mean, this is 7 or 8 years ago. Now we get the light out to some people before we market it and before we even put a price tag on it. Because I would give it to my buddy Randy I went to high school with, and he's in Mueller's Collision and Deposit. He has a good shop, and he's like, yeah, you call it a Hood Hawk, but I've had it on my wheel well for the last 2 weeks, and I brought it out. I barely use it under the hood, but it's the best light for, we go out on a record call, I clip it to the guardrail. Right, or like there was just so many millions of things, but we limited ourselves by calling it an under hood light.
I sold a lot of those, and I still do. I have one on the truck.
We designed one for Matco to use your battery system. Your
and what I did was I would walk in because that clamp that went on the hood.
Yeah.
The way it's positioned, you could set it on the floor and it shoots up.
Yeah, you could. Yep.
So I would walk in, and the guy would be underneath the car working, pulling a I sold 3 or 4 in a transmission shop that way.
Oh, yeah.
I would walk in, just set it on the floor and turn it on. And of course, with 1,000 lumens, it was like having the sun underneath the car. And they're like, hey, where did all this light come from?
Right.
And I was like, this is it.
Brian, tell a story about when you first encountered the new Ford F-150.
That's what I was joking about with Luke about when they can come out with a aluminum magnet.
Yeah,
because we have one light. It looks like a camera. It has a prop on it, and you can make it a spot or a flood. I can't remember the part number right offhand, but
it's a MFL 1500A. MFL 1500A, right?
And it has like I said, it looks like a camera, but
like an old Polaroid camera.
Yeah, old Polaroid, and it has a handle on it with a magnet. and it works great as a hood light, because it sticks underneath the hood. Well, I walked into a Ford dealership with this. I had my shopping cart full of these lights, and I walked up and I went to stick it on the hood, and of course I let go of it. It falls down, hits the guy in the head, and I said, "Well, this is the light." So I had to realize that we were going on. We had to make sure we have a metal hood for it to work.
Yeah, one of the first times I met Brian, he was like, I love to joke around. I mean,
That's the light right there.
He's like, hey, yeah, well, you got to come out with that aluminum magnetic light. And I kind of looked at him like, boy, I hope he's kidding. And obviously he was. But yeah, it's
that one that was in the center of the picture there with the lighting.
Yeah, that's the EZRED version. I like the Metco version a little better. Right there, just go down just a little bit. That's it. The Infinity Focus.
Yep. That's a great. That's probably my number one next to the headlight, the neck lights. I sell a lot of those lights, and a lot of guys like them just because, like I said, you could use it under a hood, or if you have a metal one to stick on there. And
well, it's diverse. You can charge. It's got an output on it also, so you can charge USB going out. You can charge your cell phone. You can. It's got a cord built into it where it's a charge cord, so it's built right into it. You plug it right into USB, it charges. It's just it's got a lot of cool features.
Yep, it's a great light. It's a great light,
and it's got aluminum housing. It's just it's a good one. One of my favorites.
And they're pretty durable. I've got a few of them that look like they've been chewed up and spit out by a corn binder, and they still work.
Awesome.
And it's like I said. Sometimes I have to take. I get a few of them that do eventually die, and I had to take parts off of it and fix another one because the guy's like, "Man, I love this light. You got to fix it." So,
yeah, we do lights. We do some organizational stuff, but our company was founded off of battery related products, and we still carry like the. Gosh, Brian, your number is like an MM501. We just got it, they're smaller items and less expensive, but the battery terminal cleaners and like the little terminal spreaders and the the hydrometers and replacement cables. We actually just came out a couple of years ago. We came out with a battery, like a crimper. It'll do 3-point clip. It'll do up to like 4 but instead of these big handheld $400 things, it's smaller, it's compact, it's kind of like the hammer one, but instead of a hammer there's a 3/8 female and this you can grab a 3/8 ratchet in an impact and crimp with the battery right in the car still, and it's super cool. It's a B7.
I like that.
B7946 on our website.
Yeah, it is awesome. I sell a lot of those. I got a couple of radio shops, or
radio shops love them, and and we also use a cutter with that also, like it's the guillotine.
We go through our spaces. We've talked a lot about battery cables and ends on this show.
Yeah,
because we all kind of play around that stuff. That's
the funny part about that, and I like your battery terminal cleaner and the hydrometer, and you guys got one I think for DEF now also.
Right, we do. Yep.
Those things have been around for however long, 50, 60 years.
Yeah, the 60s. Yeah,
and I still sell a ton of those.
We have
amazing.
We have, like, when you walk into our office warehouse area, there's a relic place that we made some older products and a picture of my grandfather and his desk and his card and just some cool stuff, some history. And we have an original product, and it's very, very original hydrometer, and it's almost could, if you cleaned it up a little bit, it still looks like it does today.
Yeah, it's crazy. You would think that after all these years with sealed batteries,
we wouldn't sell anymore.
All this stuff. I still can't believe how many hydrometers I sell, and it's almost as silly as, not to get too much off the subject, but selling a screwdriver.
Right?
People say, how do you have so many screwdrivers on it? And then when I look at my history and realize, I still sell over 200, 300 sets a year or whatever.
Boy, and you guys have the best grips on your screwdrivers too.
Yeah,
that's
we got the new blue. I'm waiting for my new blue ones to come in, man.
that is-
Brian, I think that's a cool topic you brought, like colors.
Yeah.
How crazy are these grown men? They want to color coordinate everything. It's like,
Sure.
like my 12-year-old daughter wants to color coordinate her glasses with her shirt, which I can understand. But these technicians are like, no, I need an orange one. I can't. Everything I have in my toolbox is orange. I can't buy a blue one.
Well, you know what it really comes down
when
to.
did this come about?
Well, I'll tell you when this came about, and I have this problem because when you have 3 or 4 guys in the shop,
Okay,
and somebody buys a set of screwdrivers or buys a light and destroys it, and then goes over to his buddy's side and switches,
right?
Because they never marked it or put their name on it, then they don't know whose light is whose. And I've literally had guys in a fight over an air tool, because they both bought we had a die grinder thing, buy one die grinder, get another one for free.
Right.
And of course it was all one color, and then one didn't work, and I had to go in, get the serial numbers off them, and said, okay, Johnny, this one's yours, and okay, Johnny, this one's yours, Chuck, this one's yours,
Yeah,
and I had to divide it.
Growing up and going through shops in my days, wrenches were chrome, screwdrivers were all black handles.
Yep.
Air tools, my pneumatic tools were just aluminum. There was no colors, and if someone did something to someone's tool, they got a beating out back on lunchtime.
Right.
Hey, come here, I want to talk to you.
Yeah, they also weren't wearing masks in the grocery store too.
That's right. We never had problems. We never really had problems.
No, it was real simple, right?
Yeah.
But I get asked all the time, especially like if I do, I've told you before, and Ray's seen it, and I've had pictures on my Instagram where I have a shopping cart, and when we have a deal, and I'll load up like those flashlights or the neck lights or even the battery. I usually when right before winter, I do that with all because battery testers and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I'll get 3 or 4 guys out there, and they'll buy, and one guy will say, "Don't you have a different color?"
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And I've seen a Matco kick on some blue colors. You guys got some, and it's a cool color. And and some of your guys are like, "Well, it's too close to Cornwell," and it's like, well, whatever. Hey,
yeah,
the customer wants to buy a blue one, sell them a blue one.
Yeah, actually, they say that. Well, I had a guy trade in. I was doing a ratchet, trade in, and here's a Cornwell ratchet. And when you really look at it, the blue's not that close.
Right.
I don't know where my blue ratchet is.
But this discussion has been banged around on the internet and on our show and on this show to some degree. And you get to red. Well, you know what? Matco has red. Snap-on has red. No one's complaining about that.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Well, there's always one in a bunch, I guess.
But the Matco blue, I agree with all the people think. I think it's beautiful. I love that Matco blue color.
It really looks sharp.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
You need to do. You really need to do a headlight in that color, a neck light, and you need to do a battery terminal in that color because I know you do red and black, right?
Well,
we can talk about that, Brian. Let's have a chat next week or so after the holidays about that. That'd be great, and I definitely would love to ship them out to you. You can approve them or tell me the colors are good, or we could work together on some stuff. That'd be fun.
Yeah, like I said, because I get asked about the blue. And of course, that's part of my sales pitch, blue to match your eyes. I mean, you gotta look sexy,
Well, I remember last year in Orlando, that was a topic. Can you make this in blue? I'm like, for what? Yeah. Oh, you want it in blue? Okay. I thought it was either maroon or red. Like, whatever you want, we'll make it.
Yeah. It's funny because that blue has something to do with the Pfizer. and we had a shortage. I was part of the shortage was because of the COVID vaccine, and they had we had problems. Our blue was on hold for a while because of all that.
Oh gosh.
So it's crazy. They need it. Whatever's in that goes with the blue to make. And I thought it was kind of funny. They said that we had to wait for our blue. We're starting to get them in. Thank God.
Honestly, nothing surprises me anymore.
Oh, I know. It's like I said,
it's ridiculous.
Tyler, Tyler, what were you going to say?
Oh, he was talking about sales pitches. So one of my favorites was on a big ticket item coming off the truck. You know, guys would be like, "Oh, I don't know. I should talk to my wife about it." And I would pull out my phone and say, "Hey, I got her number. Let's give her a call."
Nice.
Yeah, that probably won you over some good sales, Tyler.
Yeah.
Hey, I sold more toolboxes that way than any other.
You know
way.
what? And that culture, people love. It's about camaraderie, and it's part of busting chops. That is what we do. I mean, that's
and I'm sure Brian will agree. Nothing moves tools off your truck like selling tools.
Yeah.
Well, right.
The guy next to you gets a brand new set of screwdrivers and a new light, and he's like, "Well, my light's all dirty and scratched up. I need to go get one."
Oh, not only that, Tyler. I'll tell you, I've been on the truck with my buddies, and he's picking stuff up, I'm picking stuff up, and it's not a competition thing. It's weird. It's like,
it is weird.
Yeah, he's taking stuff. So and like he'll hand me. He goes, "Hey, weren't you looking for one of these?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, give me that." I'm like, "Hey, weren't you looking for this?"
You'd be like, "Oh, what's that thing do?" And then some technician you don't even talk to or know, he'll be like, "Oh, that does this, and I use it all the freaking time, and it's awesome," And you're like, "Well, now I need one."
And the tool man's in the front of the truck just saying, "Keep going, boys, keep going."
We'll do that. We'll do that at a trade show. Like I'll be talking to a dealer, like I'll be talking to Brian, and like you said, you do kind of those study groups, and it's strange how it's either sections of the country or it's a way somebody does a certain sales pitch, but it'll be a popular item, and somebody comes up and says, "Man, I can't sell this at all." And Brian will say, "Oh, well, you know what you do? You go into a Ford shop and talks about how it works in the actuator." The next trade show, the guy's like, "Dude, I sold 40 of those things in the last year." It's like,
wow,
one little thing. I remember the what was it? It was a long reach ratchet we had, and it got into this. It was our quarter sticks, the 4S12Ls.
Yep.
It was a 12-inch, and it had a bit driver on one end that ratcheted and locked, and then a quarter-inch square drive on the other end that ratcheted and locked. But 12 inches, it was long and quarter-inch. We named it the quarter stick. And the Ford dealer said, or this one guy said to me one of the early years, he said, "I go into the Ford shops and these Tauruses have problems with their AC unit." And I had a guy drop the glove box, go in, change the actuator out. It's a 3-hour job. It took him 15 minutes.
Nice.
And so I would tell that story. I must have sold 50,000 of those things just from one story, because everybody's got Ford dealerships, and they're like, "Oh man, I bet that would work," and it did, and it's just
I'll tell you, I've done a couple of blend door actuators on Ford vans, and it ain't fun. You're taking half that right.
You got to get back past the firewall.
Yeah, and I almost want to weld two tools together to get something long enough. Yeah, that's the way to do it. You find that niche that it fits, and that's how you market it. And even if no one buys it for anything else, those guys are going to buy it.
Yeah, I mean, back then I didn't even know what the hell an actuator was, but I told everybody like I knew what it was, and it sold it. It worked.
Yeah, that's where like I said, that's when, like you said, when you made the mistake on the hood lamp or the hood, the claw. It's, and like I said, that's when you have to have that type of insight on other items or other ways of pitching it, because then it'll click with somebody.
It's something that resonates. It's just one little job that saved the guy 20 minutes, and it's worth $100.
Yep. So a good example of that is I had a new technician at my. I used to be a medium and heavy duty diesel tech, and I had a new guy look at my toolbox, and he said, "Why do all of your extensions have heat shrink all the way up?" And I said, well, you've never had to do a starter on a new DD15, have you? Because you have to reach down past the terminal on the solenoid to get to the inside starter bolt.
How you can press F8.
And I was tired of arcing out and having to disconnect cables and all that stuff.
Using your keypad.
So to do the job faster, I put
Heat shrink. That's smart.
Yeah, so I had essentially they were insulated extensions. And I just, when I realized how well that worked, I put it on all of them.
That's pretty awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing what one little, you figure out one little thing. I mean, I guess that's part of being a sales guy, and that's what we all are. I mean, on different levels, but I mean, I know in my small town there's a Snap-on guy, there's a Matco guy, and it's not the product, it's the personality that the guys like, and it's just. Yeah, I've talked to both of them, and the Snap-on guy, nice guy, Ted. But he's just, I want to say, a little arrogant, and he's not the most popular guy in there. So
you're absolutely
not
right.
just the product, man. Those guys got to like you, and you got to relate to them and help them out and hook them up, because it's a different. Some of the guys, it's a different personality. It's a different type of person.
And I will say that I had like one of the superstar of the Midwest Matco guys was my competition when I was selling Snap-on tools. And the easiest, the best way I could describe a good tool man is he's honest. He's honest to his customers, and he's honest about his competition. I would get random guys come up to my truck, like didn't even work at my stop for the day, and they would come on the truck and they'd be like, "Hey, do you have this? What you do, Dad?" And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I got one in the back." And I was like, "How'd you know to stop and ask me about it?" And they'd be like, "Oh, well, Paul the Matco guy, he said you guys sell this, and it's the best thing for the job, and this is where I should go to get it." And there's a couple Matco products at the time that I thought were better than what we sold, and I would send guys his way too. So.
And that's true, because ultimately it comes down to like what you say and how it really does work. So you can't, you're going to get caught bullshitting these guys if you do. So
right.
It's no, that's good, because you need to work together like that. You can't, you start bad mouthing your competition, you just look like an idiot. Really, that's really what it comes down to.
I've said it many times. It's a good thing I don't live in Maryland, because if I was on Brian's tool truck, it'd be bad news.
Yeah.
If I was on John's tool truck, man, we'd be having lunches.
Wait, it don't matter, because you can order it anyway.
Yeah.
No, Louis, there really is a difference of being on that truck and looking around, and the tool guy's personality comes out in the way that truck is set up. Tyler knows that.
Yeah.
And the way they display things, and what they display, and what they don't display. And there really is, it's that visceral thing of being within fingertips reach of, because you pick everything up and you look at it.
Right.
And
and it's that weekly visit, it's service. And let's face it, a lot of the flags have their specialties. I mean, boy, I tell you, some of those Snap-on hand tools are pretty special. Mm-hmm. And just like a lot of the Matco diagnostic stuff, I mean, every one of those companies has their thing,
right?
But it comes down to service. Let's face it, every one of your customers can go on the internet and spend a whole heck of a lot less money, but they want that service, they want that relationship, and that's. Think about try to find another industry that they're going to pay that much more for something similar. Now, we know there is a difference in
barbershop.
Okay, yeah, I got mine done today. I'm losing some of it, but
right.
No, you're right. But I mean, for real, like there is a difference between the Craftsmans and the Matcos and stuff. We know that,
right?
But in hindsight, it's like, well, how much is that worth?
Yeah,
because there is a difference, but it is. It comes down to service, and
it comes down to service, and sometimes stuff is just plain better too.
Better, right?
One of my favorite lines I always encountered was, "Well, Hardware Freight Tools have a lifetime warranty, and I can drive up there and replace it." And I said, "Yeah, but go to the body shop and you talk to these guys who are doing the final fit and finish, and ask them how many bolts they have to touch up after they tighten the bolt with a Snap-on or a Matco socket versus the guys that are using the Pittsburgh and the Craftsman and stuff like that. And I bet you the nicer tools are easier on the bolts, and it was always the case.
No question.
I was going to say, just not to sound like a tool snob, but through the years, it's like anything, like a musician or an athlete. A guy who's good at what he does or she does can pick up almost anything and they'll get the job done. You can do it because you have that ability and that skill level. But when you can feel a difference in the tools. And that's why I said I don't want to come off like a tool snob, but I can feel the quality.
100%.
Yeah, and the grips and in the ratchet, and of course you get the action. And down to the stupidest things like static things like a crow's foot.
But once you master that service level and build that relationship, they already know that it's a better product. They're not even going to worry about it. They're coming to you. Right. They don't even know who Harbor Freight is. They're coming. I go to Harbor Freight to buy zip ties, but
sure,
it's kind of where it stops. Tarps and zip ties.
Yeah. Well, I always got made fun of the guys that get pictures of my truck in front of the Harbor Freight. And they'd be like, "Oh, what are you doing there?" And it's like, aha. What I'm actually doing is I'm going and I'm buying all the air tool fittings that are never in the box with your new air tool. So I always threw a couple in there for all my guys that would buy an air tool. If you're spending $200 or more on an air tool, you better get a freaking connector for free.
Right.
I've caught a tool guy or two in Harbor Freight once in a while.
I go to Harbor Freight. And I sent Ray a picture. And the only reason why I go in, because I go in and find my skips, the guys that owe me money.
Nice.
And I want to tell you,
you're collecting bills.
It's the best feeling in the world when you walk in and the aisle will scatter because they're all they see. There's one way in and one way out.
Right,
I stand there with my ticket book and say, "Oh, by the way, you owe me some money, right?"
Beautiful. That's cool.
I stopped by. I sent you a picture on the gold ratchet.
Right.
After the show, when we got off the show Sunday.
Right.
I said, it's about time. I'll be back, and I ran down to my Harbor Freight to run the crowd, and it was funny because I actually found two guys in there. So
that's super funny, and it makes sense, right?
Yeah. Because they know that they can't get back on a truck. Right. And if the tool guy's doing the correct thing, when the guy comes out, you run him through the system to see if he owes anybody. Some guys will start a business, start doing business with the guy. And, of course, once he gets over a certain amount of money, then they want to put him on the books. And they want, especially, unfortunately, some of these guys that pay a lot of cash, they're not running it through.
Right.
Legit until it gets to a certain mark, because then they're like, "Oh, this guy might skip out on me," and then of course, "Oh man, this guy owes Brian $1,000 or $500 or whatever."
And that's I'm sure that's happened. You especially with toolboxes and and stuff on credit. It's like, well, we fired the guy last week, and how are you going to find him?
Yeah.
Maybe you find him eventually, but that's tough.
And the easiest thing that I ever the easiest thing I ever did was program all of my neighboring Snap-on guys into my phone. Mm-hmm. And I found out all of the Matco. I got all their numbers for all the areas around. And if I was missing a guy, with a toolbox
network,
whatever else, I'd be burning up some phone lines, be like, "Hey, keep an eye out for this guy. He owes Snap-on or me a lot of money."
Right. And, don't sell to him, and let me know if you find him. Yeah, because you all feel the same pain, whatever flag you're flying. That's the name of the game's collecting the money that's owed to you,
Yeah.
And that's good because every tool guy has ratchet straps on the truck somewhere, so you could
tie him right up.
Toolbox,
I shoved him in the bottom drawer.
Yeah, drive around for half a day, just let him simmer.
I've done that. Where I've taken somebody else's box. Because my tools were in the box,
Yeah.
And I've called the Snap-on guy up and I said, "Hey, has this guy been paying you?" And he goes, "No, he's been ditching me." And I said, "Okay, no problem." And I go in, snatch it up, roll it on. And he goes, "Hey, you can't take that. That's not your box." And I'm like, "Well, it's mine now." So
yeah.
And then I call the guy, call the Snap-on guy up and say, "Hey, I got your box. Do you?" And luckily, with the Snap-on, their key, you have they don't have the 2 million different keys like we do. So,
Right.
if he's got
Universal.
a universal key, he can get in it, and I can get my stuff. He's happy, and
Yeah, you got to work together, man. Those Epic toolboxes are pretty sweet.
Yeah, they are.
I have an Epic and a Master Series in my shop now, and man,
Right.
the Epic is a nice toolbox.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Hey Brian, while we're on the subject of doing repos, have you ever heard of a guy doing a trade-in on another brand box and the credit company coming after the guy after the trade-in? Right. Yep. So you trade in a Snap-on box and then you get a call next week saying, "Hey, that's actually, guy owed a bunch of money to credit."
Happened to me.
Yep. I've heard about that happening a couple times where guys would ditch out on a Snap-on dealer and try to trade it into Cornwell or Matco or whoever. And
when I first, I was only in, this was 2-3 years in, I was a little wet behind the ears, and this guy came out and there wasn't a Snap-on guy, and I didn't, in that area. And it was kind of funny because we did the deal and loaded it up, and it was something. I'm not making this up. It was something like 35 seconds later, I get this phone call from Snap-on, from Wisconsin, the
Kenosha.
And I was like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "Hey, hello, this is a Snap-on credit. You got box, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, well, there's an outstanding balance on it. How are you going to pay for it?"
Oh boy.
Woo. And I was like, and then to even make it better on the whole subject, because I go home, I'm thinking about this, and I said, "Well, I'm just going to reject the contract. I'm just going to go back tomorrow, drop his box off, and do it." Next morning, I go back to the shop. The guy rolled out.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Wow.
Did you ever find him?
No, never found him again.
Wow.
And so I had to pay Snap-on, and I had to make like three or four payments on his box so that it didn't get charged back from me from Matco.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was a very tough month because I lost a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
That was tough.
And that guy knew what he was doing the whole time. I mean, the world has all kinds of people.
There's a bad apple in every bunch, right?
Yeah.
So they're out there, and man, that is one of the things that bit me in my first couple years as well. Toolboxes have wheels, and they're freaking easy to move. And if you don't have enough friends in a shop, guy boxes up and rolls out, and you don't know about it for a week, and then he's long gone.
It's funny. It's funny because like we talk about our networking and talking, I have, of course, after 20 years now, I have a handful of tow truck drivers I know, and, owners of tow truck companies. And it's so funny because I'll get a phone call every once in a while. "Hey, I'm moving this box from so-and-so. Is this from your area?"
Oh,
nice. And it's funny that, there are some people that do know that how much is on the hook for us.
Right.
That you get that you get a heads up,
right.
And it is nice, but it does burn. But I tell you, after that, I learned real quick. But you just can't chase that bad money because it will put you out of business. And I know that sounds very bizarre, but when you spend so much time focusing. It's a small enough world. They'll come around. You'll find them at Harbor Freight. So
it's funny. That is great that you do that.
Tyler, what led to you getting out of the business?
So it was kind of a long story. It was a multitude of things. The area I was in, they put me in as a company owned route. for a while, and the route had been very neglected for years and years. Couldn't keep a steady franchise in it. So instead of rolling over franchise after franchise, they put a company store in there, and I ran that for about 9 months, and everything was looking good. All the numbers that needed to be going up were going up. All the numbers that needed to stay down were down, and they offered an incentive for employees of the company to buy a franchise, and it ended up being like 20% out of pocket compared to what a normal get in would be. So I jumped on it, and it was good for about 2 more years. And then I had a lot of legacy customers who were close to retirement age, had no desire to spend on tools anymore. And it was just a lot of uphill struggle to try to get my management team to help me develop new customers. And it was a whole bunch of small things that just added all up. And by my 4th year, I was struggling to keep fuel in the truck and all that stuff. And Snap-on said, "Hey, we really don't want to see you have to file bankruptcy. Let's try to get you out of here." Yeah. And so they ended up doing the right thing in the long run. Good. But one of the things that happened to me in the middle of all that was right about the same time I was buying my franchise, I got realigned to a different management team area. And I went from guys who had, like, the support team knew a lot of my long-term customers from the years that they had been loyal Snap-on customers. And I got shifted to another support team 3.5 hours away. I was on the very fringe. So right in the crucial time period where I was a new franchisee, I had essentially a virgin management team,
right?
Who didn't know any of my customers, didn't know the existing history and issues that they were ongoing and all that stuff. So all that stuff snowballed, and I would love to get back into it. I loved the social interaction and the sales and stuff. And of course, as Brian can tell you, that the tools sell themselves. You have to sell yourself to your customers, and then they just buy. Yeah,
Yeah, everybody knows that you two guys have the best brands. I mean, there's no question about it.
It's true too, because what you needed was, I mean, one customer doesn't make or break a business, but you need a guy like me who's older, has his main tools for 45 years, and they still, I take care of them, so they still work. But every time I get in that truck, I'm buying more stuff because, I actually doubled up because at the shop I started working in, I didn't want to bring all my tools from home, so I had to have another set. So I started buying doubles of everything.
Yeah, and I would say probably 30 to 40% of my customer list were guys who had every hand tool you could think of under the sun. They'd been in the business for 40, 45 years. They're like, I mean, 5 more years and I'm done, whatever. And they really only wanted me to stop every week to fix the broken screwdriver.
Yeah, you're just servicing their older products. And
they had no real desire to get into the newer, like, electronic diagnostic stuff or
upgrade this, stuff. Upgrade that.
Exactly. So
you want somebody that says, "What's new?" And here's the $70 I owe you. Like, by the way, I've got 4 broken bits that you need to replace. Like,
it's funny because I'm kind of in that. I'm hitting my 20-year mark. Okay. Yeah. And it's 20 years, and I don't have a lot of changeover I don't have a lot of movement. I have, my skips are very low, and you figure in the 20 years, of course, I know I have a lot of time, but I'm less than 1.5% of
that's good
of loss. You know what I'm saying? Really so I know it's a great number. The only thing is,
my area, they told me historically my route was 3 to 4.
Yeah. And that's about like the national, that's like the average where they base on. And but going Tyler, along the line,
No, I was gonna ask Tyler where he's located.
I'm right up the road from Lewis. I'm here in Youngstown, Ohio.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Car bomb capital of the world.
But one of the big problems that I have is that we just talked about it earlier in the show. We're hitting up on the 3rd generation, And I'll never forget. I have this one gas station. It's run by two brothers, which they got from their father, and so forth. And you know, and they've gone through, and of course, one of the brothers, his son is in the gas station business too. You know, is with them. You know, and we were talking, and they were like, you know, we're out of here. This was right when COVID happened. You know. And he goes, we're going to be out of here, and so-and-so's taking over, and we're just showing him, you know. So, and of course, the shop's a little run down and slow. So, of course, you know, I put on my sales pitch, and I was like, hey, you know, you looking for a couple new guys? We'll get some stuff. We'll update your computer. We'll do this. He says, man, when my old man's out of here, I'm selling this dump, and I'm cashing in, and I'm out of here. He didn't have 2 cents about what that whole family, you know, for the third generation on, to have with it. And I was just shook. And actually, unfortunately, one thing led to another. Both the brothers are still there, and they're still running the place.
They didn't want the ship to go down.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what carries the whole family. Yeah. I mean, you know, they had a couple gas stations, and that's.
So did you get them interested in that scan tool yet?
No, because they are, unfortunately, they are on their way out. I mean, you know,
right now in that area, they are, yeah.
Well, right now in that area, such a huge, that's our biggest problem now is development. You know, I'm coming down to losing 2 big dealerships because, you know, the permits have been pulled, things have been filed, and they're ready to bulldoze. And Montgomery County, the county that I live in, and the state of Maryland in general, but Montgomery County does not want to have anything to do with automotive. And they make it very difficult. Gas stations go out. I mean, if they don't have anybody in there within 6 months, they lose the permit. You can never file again for a permit for that place.
Yeah, and OEMs are making it harder and harder too because they don't want the aftermarket to repair their vehicles. They want all that service work to come back to the dealerships.
Yeah,
I know I was talking to one of the guy that does almost all of my tuning on high horsepower applications and stuff. He is of the same opinion as me that within the next 5 years or so, these OEMs, they're going to make their software, their operating software for engineers,
it's already
so hard to crack that really, unless you are a massive company like Lingenfelter, HP Tuners, ProCharger, you're just not going to be able to get performance aftermarket stuff for these newer vehicles because the OEMs are cracking down on it so hard.
Then again, if you find a 700 horsepower car, like you really don't need much more. You really don't.
1,000. Gotta have 1,000.
Yeah, I know.
Well, Tyler ain't playing around with the 800 to the ground.
Yeah, I know.
874.
All right.
Go.
It's a beast.
You know, I was going to say, Tyler, what maybe Brian, this is good for you too. You know, use me as a model. Tell your older guys, hey, listen, if you upgrade your tools like I did, I upgraded a lot of my older screwdriver sets because the Snap-on screwdrivers, the black handles, after a while they outgas and they were getting sticky. And he said, yeah, that's a problem with that we've had. And you know, so I traded in a couple of sets and took the newer ones with the composite handles.
Yeah, they got those PVC handles. Those are nice.
It gave me a whole new thing to bitch about. I was like, these freaking handles, I use them once and it's freaking dirty. And then he pulls out a can of WD-40. He goes, Ray, you got to keep one of these. And he goes, this is how you clean them. I'm like, oh, okay. So it just reinvented the wheel about I just started bitching about something new.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So funny story about being a tool guy. My first 2 months or so, I went to this diesel shop. It was a whole bunch of young guys. It was this new shop, you know, and I sold everybody in there a set of screwdrivers. I sold everybody in there a set of wrenches. Like they practically cleaned out my truck, right? Like 6-7 guys, all of them, you know, over $1,000 on my books the first day I stopped.
Nice.
And I get there the next week and I'm all hyped, you know, I'm like, oh yeah, this is my favorite stop. And they're coming out in droves with broken screwdriver handles. So
Handles.
like the grip just snapped. And
Wow.
I replaced like 2 of them, and then that was like all the spares I had because it's never the handle that breaks; it's always the blade.
Right.
And if the third guy comes out with a broken handle, and I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" Thinking they're using them as like chisels or something.
Pry bars.
What they had found out is if you throw a snap-on screwdriver at the ground and it hits handle first, it bounces really high in the air.
Oh.
And so they were playing games bouncing
that's
screwdrivers.
Oh boy.
And they broke a bunch of handles. Yeah.
Wow.
Who does
I
that?
found that out one day. I was working in the garage and I
Ammo sale.
had a screwdriver in my hand. I think it was probably like a number 2, maybe a 2 Phillips, whatever. And I was at the vise and I was just like thinking about how to do something. And I had the screwdriver. And I just started like bouncing it like upside down, just on the vise, just tapping it, and it had that. There was like a resonance that it had, a resonance frequency, and I noticed that it would bounce back up. And I said, but I never went further than that. I said, that's pretty cool, and then I went back to doing what I was doing.
It's crazy.
So, yeah.
Hey guys, I got to jump ship. I got an early start tomorrow.
All right, Lewis.
All right, Lewis.
Already gone.
I'll be
Hey, I
leaving
really
shortly as
appreciate
well.
you. Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on.
Nice to meet you, man. Anytime. It was enjoyable.
Well, listen, I tell every guest, you're a family now. You can come on anytime you have a new product, or if you just want to hang out and kick it with us. You're always welcome.
All right. When Matco and EZRED this later on in this year, we got some really awesome organizational products for the toolbox coming out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brian and I will chat and figure out where we can come show them and do some show and tell, and
Okay.
Right.
we're pretty excited about it. So
Well, hey, here's the thing you could do. I'm doing a big event at Tyler's shop. I'm cutting my roof off my school bus, and we're raising it 18 inches.
oh, cool.
So we're needing extra hands. If anybody wants to stop in, we're welcome. We're gonna have barbecue.
Bring like a 5x3 banner of your company brand, and you're welcome to show up.
Gee,
We'll
thanks.
feed you.
I only have a 6-footer.
There you go. That
We
works.
will feed you.
I don't have any banners.
Hey, I
don't
do
know.
get out. I do get out to that area once in a while, and I drive right by Youngstown. I'd love to stop by and
Oh
say
yeah,
hi.
for sure.
And Lewis, don't
Okay.
worry, 'cause, I keep Tyler. I keep Tyler. I shouldn't keep Tyler, but I will. I keep Luke in my rotation, and there's, like we'll do. We get him Sunday. We'll get him over here too.
Yeah,
We'll
for
just,
sure.
we'll keep the show
Yeah.
rolling.
Be awesome.
I
Thanks,
am. If you take I-80 through Youngstown, my shop is literally like 2 minutes from I-80.
Block.
yeah,
Oh wow,
that's what I
I've
do.
Been
So-
there.
I have
Yeah.
too, and I didn't realize it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get off at the Girard exit, which is Route 422.
Okay.
First exit or second exit into Youngstown.
Yeah, if you take 422 south towards downtown Youngstown, I'm literally like a mile and a quarter down on the left-hand side.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
That's
not too
awesome.
far of a drive.
Yeah, you're always welcome.
And I do go out to see Matco, which is in Stowe, so I got to drive right through there
Mhm.
from 80.
How many are you guys back at? You guys aren't back in any kind of person format. Is it still Zooming or just talking?
You're talking about going to Matco? Yeah,
it's.
I'm
yeah.
begging for in-person meetings because you get so much more accomplished.
Yeah.
I mean, as you guys know, being on a tool truck, it's just the way to go, and it's just not. Yeah, you start getting into to the corporate part of this business, and Matco from the top down, it's like no people, no strangers coming in the building, and most of the CMs, the category managers and stuff, they're working from home, and it's like,
Yeah.
I
Well,
can't
I'm really
I can't
hoping
invite myself to their house, but
we're only down to what 5 weeks or whatever till Expo and Vegas.
February's coming up, man. So yeah,
And I really hope that this doesn't get really nasty because man,
it's as
so
nasty
crazy.
as the news media makes it.
Yeah, I know,
the
right?
problem is it's escalating again. So now Boston, Chicago, LA, I think New York, they're all going to require these freaking vaccine shot passports to get into a restaurant or any kind of public.
I had a
venue.
show I went to a restaurant in Queens the other night, and the guy says, I need to see your vaccine. Like, what? I'm like, oh, I forgot. I'm in
Hi,
the other
Lewis.
borough.
All right, Lewis, take it easy,
Hey,
Lewis.
Lewis.
All right, Lewis. I
You
was
should have asked
floored.
him for his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was funny because my wife just took a phone out and just the screen lit up to that thing. He goes, okay, good enough. I'm like, what? I'm like,
Yeah.
There was
Gotta
a whole meme I read the other day. Guy, and his gal walking into a restaurant, and the guy at the door says, I need to see your, vaccination stuff. And the guy says, well, who's going to be serving us? And
Yeah.
says the guy's name.
I saw
And he
that
goes,
same
well,
thing.
I'm going to need his information.
yeah,
And
right,
the
right.
chef-
And I need to
and
know
the-
if he's got any communicable diseases and the whole deal. And while you're at it, you might as well give me the information for everybody that's in the kitchen.
Right.
Now he definitely got his
Which
plate licked before they.
this is
serve
how
it
you're going to get around this shit, is to stand up and fight and give him the old fuck you.
Yeah.
You're
And
gonna
that's
do
what
it, I'm gonna do it.
that is what it's
How
coming
can I
to.
trust you?
Right.
The people that had patience, and at first I feel it was our civic duty, in
Right.
2021. Hey,
For the first 2 weeks.
yes, we don't know what the hell's going on. It's our civic duty to sit back, let people figure it out.
Right, because
It'll
all the
turn
initial
into
all the
2
initial
years.
indicators were that it was going to be really bad. Like my brother, he lived in Shanghai, China at the time, and he had when everything started popping over there, he just so happened to be on vacation in New Zealand for Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
And he sat down with his wife and was like, "Look, do we go back to China or not?" And they luckily made the decision to come back to the U.S. and wait it out, and that ended up being a very smart decision.
Yeah, good
But
thing.
that first initial time period was looking like it was going to be maybe some really scary crap going on, and then it was 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and then it was 6 weeks to whatever the next motto was, and then after that it was a 8-month shutdown, and let's just put 20% of all small businesses out of business.
The news here on Long Island yesterday, I was watching it, and they were making a big thing. The COVID rate now is up to 10.2%. And they were like, the sky is falling. And I said, wait a minute, let me think of something. I think on Long Island, we have like 8.5 or 9 million people. So what's 10%? It's like, I have 10,000 people in the town I live in. It's like 10% is nothing.
Well,
Washington's crying. Oh my God, this thing, it spread across the country so fast. It's unbelievable. It does this, it does this, it does this. And then they turn around and they go, well, it's really mild symptoms, and you get over it in a couple of days, and you won't have to go to the hospital. So shut your fucking hole.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Why are you even bothering to do this crap? Oh, it spreads so fast. Good, let it spread. And I said to my wife today, I'm like, why are there millions of people waiting online to get tested? What are you getting tested for? Because you're sick or you're not sick. Do you feel good when you got out of bed today?
What they say, 7 hours to get a test?
Go to work.
So, a lot of that
feel
could
like
be
shit, call your doctor, figure out what's going on.
A lot of that could be employer based,
sick,
though.
You're not sick.
A lot of that could be employer based. People have to get a test to go, like once a week.
Yeah.
I'm
the employer. I ain't telling anybody to go.
No, you're not. But I'm saying around here they do.
Yeah, they do.
It's crazy. How much, Luke? Real quick, how much? I know we roughly hit it on Sunday, but your backlog or your product, are you guys still flowing okay with product?
No.
Are we gonna have issues here for
Supply chain issues.
Expo? Are we gonna have Expo problems for ordering?
Well, what's really great, I'll say about especially Matco. I work with a guy named Mike Murray, and he's the inventory control guy for us. And usually we set up specials in the beginning of the year. We set up our specials for Expo, and everything's planned in advance. And we, the stuff that we make in the U.S., there's obviously less lead time, but we import stuff from Taiwan and some stuff from China, and it's 90 to 100 days. If we order 10,000 pieces of something, it comes in 100 days.
Yeah.
But now
Kyle here is
that
running
lead
on
time's
my
like
screen.
almost a year. So yeah, it's a problem. And we'll get a container that comes in. It's supposed to have 4,000 of these pieces, and it's got 1,000.
Yeah.
They shorted us on the container. It's just a mess, and there's no end in sight, really. Yet.
And pretty much the whole performance community for aftermarket automotive work, all that stuff. It almost doesn't matter how much you make in the US. We're still at the mercy of computer chip crap that isn't made here.
Well, and even for some reason, like, we have injection molding. We used to get virgin plastic. It was just always available. Nope. We can't even run our plastic through our molds because we can't get plastic. So made in the USA doesn't mean anything.
Right, because the raw materials aren't made here.
Raw material, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I know. I talk to I don't talk to him a lot, but I'm friends on Facebook with Doug Cook, who runs Motion Raceworks, a medium-sized.
Oh yeah, what's his face just bought into that?
Yeah, Cletus.
Yeah.
He just signed a sponsorship partnership thing.
Just got married.
Yeah, that too, dummy. So the thing that he's like big time, produced in the USA, made here, all that stuff. But they've been having issues because there's not enough foundries in the US to make the aluminum to make the products.
Correct.
So now
China's just keeping it all. They're hoarding it. They're flexing their muscles.
Yeah.
We get a lot of our hand tools and stuff are designed or made in Taiwan because of their engineering and their quality control, and we just can't get product, and it's frustrating because
the real frustrating part for you is your stuff's probably sitting on a ship off of California right now.
We've watched a container of ours. It's been 130 days. It's been actually, I could go down to Newark and I could see it with a pair of binoculars. It's been there for 3 weeks and it hasn't moved.
Damn.
And it's got some Maxwell stuff on it. And I keep telling the guys, oh yeah, it's in the port of Newark. We'll have it any day. It's not moving. It's just.
Oh my God.
Go out there and get it.
I was gonna say, swim out there and grab it.
Yeah.
Take a boat out of that. Take a boat, climb up the side of that thing, open the doors, and start throwing stuff over.
Those guys on the container see my fat ass going out there in a canoe. They're like, what the heck is this guy doing? With my muzzle loader.
On that note, I gotta go. I'll see
Tyler,
you guys.
nice to meet you, man.
Nice meeting you.
Merry Christmas.
You send me a message when you're going through Youngstown. We'll stop and have lunch.
Consider it done, dude. Nice to meet you.
All right.
Awesome.
Have a good one, guys. Merry Christmas.
Still long time. Thanks.
So how come Newark isn't unloading stuff? Because I can understand California, just a bunch of freaking assholes, but Newark's
not much better.
You're talking to boys.
Yeah, it's just I think that was the freight forwarder that we used for that specific container. We've gotten products in that we've ordered after that. It's just this certain container. We just even the route it took and it went back and forth and up and down. It was just a bad move on our part, I guess. We tried a certain freight forwarder with a better price, and it's not panning out. Yeah. And you make phone calls, and we've already paid for it, and it's just you get the runaround, and you know what? Nobody gives a shit. You already paid for it.
Yeah, exactly.
But when they're in the port, they will not unload until you pay for it. So when we can see they're in port, you pay for it, and then they unload it, and we take our freight guy, and they move it up. It's 2.5 hours to our shop.
Right. I just, I don't know. I'm not any kind of real conspiracy theorist, but why would so many people, Americans, okay, that are involved in all of this supply chain stuff here, the stuff that's floating on, in the ocean on both ends, why do they want this country to fail?
I don't know.
Why are they not saying, you know what, this is fucking America. We're the best. We've done it before. We can do it again. Let's get to work. But no, it's just not happening.
Well,
and I got it in terms of stuff like you were talking about foundries that can't make stuff, the whole deal. And I kind of think if Trump was still the president, that he would have made a move like when they put all of those people and all that money into building the Hoover Dam,
Yeah.
that they would have made a national project out of becoming manufacturing independent from the rest of the world. He would have broke the bank of Washington, D.C., but he would have got factories started to be built, the whole deal. I
He was
really
working
think
on it.
that's what he would have
That
done.
was part of a plan. It was already in
He
motion.
would have
working on it,
made
yeah.
he would have made moving America forward number one, not this bullshit about we have to have electric cars and
Well-
we're gonna build back better.
Well, and look at all the immigrants from Mexico that just flooding the place, and you can't tell me it's not just to be spiteful. It's all that
There's
was his
some
plan. The wall.
There's a plan going on here that's not
And-
good.
Isn't there enough steel left over that's already paid for from the government? I think
We're just
I
talking
heard
about
it. You'd have to
on
look it up.
Sunday.
But there's steel left over, raw steel for the wall
Right.
in America, already paid for. The government said it's earmarked for something else. You can't use it for manufacturing. It's like it's sitting there doing nothing.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And there's
So-
all of that equipment for the wall on site where shithead went and did his deal and said, "Get off the job." So
Ridiculous.
that stuff's sitting there. And
Yeah,
it's
it's
doing
crazy.
nothing but just rotting away. And yeah, we got an open border, and every asshole and their mother wants to roll in.
Yep,
And
and
you
they
got
are.
these poor guys on the border that can't do shit. Yet
No.
Washington, D.C. doesn't see that. Oh, no. We're looking over here.
Well, that's
Spiteful.
going to be
There's
that's going to be a
nothing going on
vote.
down there.
That's going to be a vote, Johnny. Come on now. It's going to
I
be a vote
don't
for him.
care
Well,
if they
the
come
vote-
here as
the
long
vote
as they
can't come
fix my
sooner.
vegetables.
Fix my-
I was
Easy, Populous Girl. Easy.
living in a farm town that I live in, because this is where the strawberries come from, and you've got these migrant workers. And I always said to myself, if you need these people to do these kind of jobs, why doesn't America make it easy for these people to legitimately get here? Put kiosks in Mexico and say, "Hey, man, we need 7,000 people to come in
Right.
and pick vegetables. So come, do a real quick check on these people. Set up stuff. Work with Mexico. Set up centers in Mexico where you could vet these people, and if they pass, you give them what they need and you ship them up."
Well,
Done.
there are
Why do you
brokers.
got to deal with this crap?
There are brokers companies that you do that, but you're paying. I mean, really, and they're becoming more popular. Like
There you go, Brian.
you go through this broker, you get a group of immigrant workers, but you're paying a lot for the brokerage fee, and it's almost not worth it. But there is becoming some. It's a little easier, but it's just you don't know what you're getting. All of a sudden, there's 40 guys that are shipped up to you, and you're hoping everybody's honest, and you got to house them, and you got to make sure they have rides to the store, and you got to take care of them and babysit them. And it's like,
Oh,
but yeah, they work like crazy. My uncle runs a lumber yard, and he said they're the best workers in the world.
We have all these strawberry farms here. This is where all the strawberries come from in the wintertime.
Where do you live, John?
Plant City, Florida.
Oh, nice.
So all of the farms, they have school buses that they use to move these guys from one field to the next. And each bus is a different color. Each company has a color that they pick. So this farm over here has got yellow. So they got like 15 or 20 yellow, but bright yellow buses. And their workers all wear yellow shirts. Then the guy down the block, his stuff is green.
It's like
The other
kids
one
on a
is
school trip.
purple. Yeah. It's
That's
know
where
what?
that's
they
where the
get it done.
It
that's
works.
where the color comes in for the tool.
There it is. There it
We've
is.
solved the problem.
Who
That's
wants
why
red,
this
who
guy
wants
said,
yellow,
"I
who wants
want this
green?"
color."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's unreal. But it's why, like, on like Sunday when they're not picking stuff, you go into Walmart and they use that bus to bring them all to Walmart to do the
Oh, yeah.
shopping.
Hey,
Yeah.
It's like,
before-
oh yeah, the yellow crew's here. It must be 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
one
Yeah,
of-
I think
one
we
of-
could go on. We could go on forever about the
yeah.
the issues here. It's just it's beyond ridiculous, and it's funny every day. You hear stuff and it's mind blowing, but it's not surprising anymore. It's like
No.
Well, you
But
know, you
before
just
you roll out, Luke, I want to ask you a question that's really common on playing in traffic, and unfortunately, some of the people have already left. Which is the best Tri-5?
Oh, geez. Well, the important guy isn't here.
Haven't heard that question in a while.
I mean, is it a 55 Chevy, a 56 Chevy, or a 57 Chevy? Which is the
What's the choice?
best looking of those cars there?
boy, I'm gonna have to plead the fifth on this one.
No. This is the running tally on where we're at on this.
And we do have a clear winner. We have a clear, front runner through time.
So I hate to put you on the spot, but
55, 56, 57.
Yeah.
You know, for my lack of knowledge, I'm sure there's something with headlights or something. I'm going to throw out. It's going to be the later model.
They all have single headlights.
Okay.
So you're saying 57, right?
That's what I'm going with.
That's an outlier. See, there's an outlier in our chart.
It's an outlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, usually it's 55 or 56, and there's one particular person who thinks the 56 is God's gift to all.
Yeah, so I just had to know.
All right,
where we're at. So we can
it was good to see. Good to meet everybody. I'll come on again for sure.
Luke, I'll keep in touch. Don't worry.
Yeah, everybody have a happy holiday, and
you do the same. Hopefully, I'll see you real soon.
Wear your masks around your family during Christmas time.
Having
dinner.
I live in Florida. I don't have to.
You know, one more thing about the mask thing. It was New York just came out with this mandatory mask inside thing, and the fine print was like, when you're in restaurants and actively eating, you're allowed to take the mask off. And it's like, so you're saying,
oh shit.
So you're saying I'm chewing my food, and when I'm done, I have to put them. It's actively eating. It's
actively eating.
That's what I'm saying. It's beyond. We just laugh at it now. It's like, and our county just said we can't. We're a little hillbilly county upstate, and it's like, we can't police this. We're not even doing it. We not, you don't have to follow. Because I said to my buddy who owns a grocery store, I said, listen, man, I don't really want to wear a mask in your store, but if you're going to get a fine, I'll do it. He's like, no, the county called and said that they can't police it. They don't care.
Yeah, the good thing is down here in Nassau and Suffolk County, each county executive has put the word out that they're not going to enforce it in the counties. Like I said, I was in Queens, and now I got to show my card. I got to wear the mask. I got to, the whole yards.
That's why you got to live here. My whole state, you don't have to enforce it.
Yeah.
You think your governor's going to run?
I don't know what he's going to do. I love him as a governor. I don't want to see him leave.
I think it's a rumor. He never really said anything about it. I think it's just a hope.
What do you think's going to happen here, Luke?
Man, she's something different too. I thought I was excited for a second, but holy shit!
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
The outgoing mayor, Mayor McCheese over here, all of a sudden he's all active with these plans, and he just signed a bill that all new construction has to be fully electric by 2027. It's like, last time I checked, it was real fucking expensive to pay electricity in New York. I mean, my electric bill is high, and he wants the whole building except for emergency use. Like, fucking an idiot. It's like, really?
Ray, you sure you aren't talking about our governor? Because he wants all these electric things in 2030 or whatever it is.
I guess they're getting across the country. But if they realized how electricity was made, it all goes back to fossil fuel anyway.
Yeah, but nobody wants to admit that.
Of course not. It's
always, you know what it is? I put politicians in the same basket as magicians. Okay. The guys in Vegas. It's all about watch the hand while I do this.
Right.
Don't look over here. Look over here.
Right.
That's what it's all about. So it's like electric, but don't say anything about how we actually generate that electricity.
How about the freaking grid that's going to collapse?
Well, and more people are seeing that now because it's becoming like, like I said, actively eating. It's like, wait, time out. You can be as liberal as you want. You start reading stuff like this, and you have to start questioning, like, what are you doing?
I watched
really
a girl. I watched a
can't
lady
wait.
eat McDonald's French fries through her mask.
Jesus.
Oh, my
Oh, I hope you recorded it. That,
I wanted to. I'm sitting there and I'm like, what? And she's over there. Pop, pop, pop,
You
pop,
should have just
I'm-
told Brian. Should just told. Look, why don't you just stick them up your ass, and it'll be a little quicker trip.
right.
You know,
Why
to
don't
the
you go out
bathroom.
and play in traffic and save the world a lot of time?
right.
Oh well. All right, Luke. Well,
Crazy.
hopefully,
Gentlemen,
I see you
cheers.
in Vegas.
Yeah, you will, Brian. Hey, guys, happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Merry
and,
Christmas, Luke.
have a
Thank you.
great evening.
Stay in touch and be
Alrighty.
safe, my friend.
All right. All right, right.
Okay. Good night. Good night. Oh man.
Yeah, I tell you. I sat there. I was sitting there, and she's popping She's pulling her mask and popping French fries in. And popping. I was like,
They have.
she was by
they
herself.
have-
I mean,
they
she
have
was in her
managed
car.
to brainwash millions and millions and millions of people in this country.
We were talking about that
Have
tonight
been
at dinner.
completely brainwashed.
No.
Their little scheme has worked.
I was talking like
Between what the press has to say, and then these so-called experts, and then you've got the assholes that work for the health organizations. They're just doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
They're spreading the bullshit peanut butter. They're using a giant freaking spatula like you use for concrete. It's that
Willy
thick.
Wonka.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, yeah.
I was
it's
just saying to
horrible.
my daughter at dinner tonight. I said, the thing is, little kids that are in second, third grade, they're already indoctrinated to wearing masks and staying away from people. So, like when they go to school next year, if the teacher says, "Okay, it's mask," that's going to be their normal because that's how they're growing up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that's how they get them. They get them from that age, and then as they come up, they don't care about us. They know we're gonna age out. But
Yeah.
they get the younger ones, and they get that.
Well, we
longer
become the
stretch.
We become the crazy ones.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Don't talk to him. He's crazy.
absolutely.
Right, exactly.
Crazy old man. Yeah.
Crazy old man.
The amount of people that see through the bullshit is dwindling at the same pace as a top fuel car going through the quarter mile. Okay,
Yeah.
because they're killing us off, and they know we're not going to be around,
Right.
and they're going to say, "Yeah, those are the crazy ones." That
Right.
listen to this guy. This guy knows what's going on.
Yeah, those guys are crazy. They used to hang on to the back bumper of a car and go down the street in the
Yeah.
snow. Who the hell would do that but a crazy
Right.
man?
Don't listen to those old guys. They don't know shit. They don't understand. They don't get it. They don't get the technology.
Right.
Right. So
Again, just the other day, I was with my daughter at the mall in Roosevelt Field, and we had something to eat at Johnny Rockets. So we're sitting there. She had never
Johnny
been there.
Rockets.
So she goes, "This is a cool place."
Johnny Rockets is good.
I said, "Yeah, it's like an old-fashioned malt shop." She goes, "What's a malt shop?" And I said, "Well, a thick shake used to be called a malt or a malted milk." I said, "So that was the name." I said, "And they served hamburgers and fries, and kids would go after school, and and it was a hangout." I said, "It was a place." She goes, "This is really cool with the stainless steel, and they got the jukebox." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll play some songs."
Yeah.
I'm like, she goes, "They should have more of this, all over the place." I was like, "I like the way you think." I'm like, "You're
You know
right."
what's funny? A lot of younger people don't get the concept that drugstores used to be the place to go to get ice cream soda and
Right.
ice cream, and you'd go to the drugstore. My
Right,
father
right.
was a soda jerk, worked at the Rexall
The
drugstore. in
Rexall,
Brooklyn,
yeah.
And they
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
They're like they can't.
Well,
how do you
yeah.
put ice cream and together with pills?
because they never saw it. Yeah, they never
You
saw
know?
it.
And that's where that stuff started.
Right.
They just don't get it. They
Yeah.
don't get.
We
They
had
don't
a- we-
understand.
We had a place, a restaurant. It was Cheeseburger.
Oh yeah, we
Was
had
the name
those
of
over here. Yeah.
And
I wish I had one of those.
we had them around here, and they slowly dwindled,
Here too.
closed. And the last one around here, they modernized it. They upgrade. They changed. They took all that 50 stuff out, and
yeah.
it's like it looks like a fucking Panera.
They made
and-
tofu burger.
Yeah, no, and it's like, and of course they changed everything on. It's the same thing on the menu, but they have different names now, And we were talking to the guy, and he goes, I said, "Oh man, we heard about this is in Annapolis, which is about 45 minutes away for us." We drove out there, and of course we were looking for how a cheeseburger looked, And of course, they changed all that. And of course, we were talking to the guy. Goes, yeah, we tried to they wanted to up their image and change it. And he goes, we probably got about 3 more months here and we'll be done. So it's really sad because, like you said, the burgers were great. And, you get yourself a milkshake or whatever, it was just,
I think
really
I had
sad.
like the Texas burger or something. It was, the burger with Swiss
that all
cheese,
that?
onions, mushrooms. I tell you, it looked like a freaking crime scene.
Yeah.
I was like, it was bad, So I asked the lady, I said,
Yes.
you got any wet naps or something? She goes, oh, no, we don't have those, but I can bring you some wet paper towels. I'm like, oh, look, I need something. I'm not going to get my car. And she brought me like 4 paper towels soaking wet. I'm like, what am I going to do with this?
No,
Wash
we've
my
been on it
car?
for 2 hours. So.
So I showed my daughter, like, I'm wringing the water out of it. I'm like,
Oh boy.
wash windows.
Do you guys have Denny's that
Yeah.
are like an old diner?
Yes.
I've been finding
one on
those
Old
around
Country
here
Road.
lately.
Denny, we call them Denny's Death Den.
Oh yeah.
But no, they're good. Denny's, they have a good breakfast. They really do.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
breakfast at
Well,
Denny's.
they have a lot of them that they're opening up here are like an old New York diner.
Yeah, these aren't like that old, but it isn't. It is like an older It is like a diner.
Smaller, and it's like a diner.
Okay, that's a different. I think a different model,
yeah, not like just a Denny's like you'd
Right.
see anywhere. These are old school type New York diners.
It's cool.
Or like the ones I've seen in Pennsylvania,
Right.
and they have the counter with the stools
That's cool.
and
yeah.
then the booths, and it's like walking into a New York diner.
Well, that's what we did. We sat at the counter at Johnny Rockets, and my daughter remembered. She's got a good memory. She goes, I remember when we went to the diner on Sunrise Highway, in Baldwin. I'm like, yeah, it was the Baldwin Coach. She goes, and we sat at the counter. I'm like, you remember that? And like, she had to be like, I don't know, 12, 13, like half a life ago, And I said, do you remember what happened that day at the diner? And she couldn't remember, but I said, remember the girls making the shake in the machine, and like they pulled the cup down to get all the ice cream mixed, and some ice cream flew across and hit us both in the face. And she was like laughing because she got splattered. I'm like, that's the diner experience. You sit at the counter, whatever comes your way, you catch. If it's the French fry, grab it, eat it.
That's if anything, that's one of the things I miss about New York is going to the diner.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand why that doesn't work here.
Yeah. I was telling her about egg
I don't
sandwiches
get it.
today. She goes,
Yeah.
why don't they have egg sandwiches? I'm like, Jen, I don't know. It's the easiest thing in the world. Take a roll, eggs, cheese, bacon, whatever you want, sausage, cook it up, throw it on there, bang, done. I said, they don't do it.
I can't understand why that concept doesn't work in Florida.
Yeah,
I just
I don't
really it boggles my mind. It's like, really?
Yeah.
You could walk into these places, they're open 24 hours a day, the menu's this thick. You could have breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
I said it's a perfect establishment because you could have
Yeah.
anything you want any time of the day.
Cozy booths, long counter. They got,
They let you stay.
yeah, they
you
always
hang
got they're right. You can
Yeah,
hang out. They've always got that big display with all the fresh baked
Oh,
cakes and things.
I want one of those in my kitchen.
I
That's what I want, the
don't
display.
understand. It doesn't
Just one of
work
them.
here. For
Yeah.
some reason, it just doesn't work in this state. Nowhere in this. If anything, I would have figured it would have been on the East Coast because there's just so much New York there.
Right.
It's not there either. All my New York friends are like, nah, there's no diners here.
Can't imagine why. Yeah.
I just don't get it. I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
I thought I could get into that, open up a diner and become a billionaire.
Well, maybe you could because enough people from here or
Well,
down there, they're going to go in.
I know. I wonder if that concept would work now because there's just so many of you idiots down here.
Yeah.
Traffic is getting crazy.
Is it?
Oh yeah, my wife's upset. She's like, "This is a mistake."
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, "There's enough traffic here to remind me of being in New York." She goes, "And that's not good."
Yeah. Tell her one trip back and she'll realize how good she has it.
No.
Because it's a lot worse here.
It's taken me ridiculous amounts of time to get around the last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, roads that were never clogged are now completely congested.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Why? Why are you here?
Yeah.
And everywhere you go, they're plowing out farmland and forest,
Oh, yeah.
and they're putting up these cheap houses.
Well, that's what I saw down in North
You got
Carolina.
these builders that, and then I'll be the first one to tell you that Florida's got the most crooked politicians locally, and county-wise,
Uh-huh.
because they'll take an acre of land and they'll put 8 houses on it.
Oh, geez.
Okay,
They
and
think they're in
people buy
Uniondale?
this stuff.
That's
I swear
crazy.
to God, it's like they're building like Levittown everywhere here in Florida.
Right.
You fart and your neighbor smells it.
Right.
It's insane. The houses are literally from like roof edge to roof edge is 10 feet.
Yeah.
People are buying though.
That's no good.
No.
Yeah, they're coming out of Ridgewood maybe, and it's
they're putting them up
thing.
real cheap. They're using chipboard instead of real plywood.
Right.
It's just bad news. Totally bad news. So I don't know. Florida's changing.
Yeah.
Luckily, where I am, it's awesome though. So I'm not going to complain.
Yeah. Yeah. Leave it to your wife. Let her complain.
I don't have a lot of traffic right where I live.
That's good.
And I've got all the stores I need, including a Starbucks, which I never will ever go to. 2 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, we have 2. We're special. We have 2.
I saw something weird tonight. I was telling my daughter we were in the Massapequa Mall, and that mall they sold it again. So they've lost Sears, they lost Penny's, Walmart. There was a 2-story Walmart that left. Now it's a Dick's. So they have no anchors. They only have Macy's. They don't have the anchor stores and a lot of empty stores. Because I don't know if the guy had set a higher, raised the lease rates, or if it's just unknown and stores aren't going to come in and commit because they don't know. But the funniest thing, I said, in the middle of the mall on the first floor for years and years and years, they had it used to be a big open circle, but they built like a semicircular structure, and it was a Starbucks. I said to Jen, now I know things are bad at this mall. Look, it's not a Starbucks anymore. Now it's a Dunkin' Donuts. I said, so if Starbucks left and they got
yeah, but that's an upgrade.
Starbucks was packed, always packed.
Packed with drug addicts.
And there was nobody there in the Dunkin' Donuts.
I'm telling you, there's some kind of drug in Starbucks coffee. And go ahead and sue me. I don't give a flying fuck. Seriously. If you go past any Starbucks, they're out there like the Walking Dead.
In Manhattan, they have
to have it.
They're on like every corner. They're across from each other on the corners. You don't have to cross the avenue, and they're packed.
Right. They wait in their cars. They wait online. They get out of the car. They wait online. There is something that's in the coffee or something they add to the water that has these people hooked, and it's universal. Because if you're a Starbucks drug addict here in Florida, and you get on a plane and fly to Pennsylvania, you will find a Starbucks there.
I think it's just
not
the
that the
women like
coffee
the way
is
their
so
nails.
phenomenal.
No. I think the women like the way their nails look against the Starbucks cup because that's the women I see.
Yeah, but there's more guys that I see. Tons of these guys, and they all got buns on their hair. You know?
Right. Yeah, bun heads. Right.
They pull their brains out.
Right.
That's
what I hate when I go upstate. We stop on the
wear
thruway.
Those skinny jeans.
Yeah, the skinny. We make the
you
first
want to
stop
kick
on
a
the
guy.
thruway.
I want to kick a guy in the nuts if I catch him walking by me and he's got them skinny jeans on. I'm like, really?
We make the first stop on the thruway at like Harriman, and there's it's a Starbucks. You're gonna get
not prejudiced.
like, oh no, I gotta have that crap. It's like, give me a iced coffee out of the.
Well, I was amazed. We have a mall here in Bethesda. I think it's in Bethesda, but they actually have a 7-Eleven inside the mall.
Wow. Never saw
and that's
that.
like one of the only stores still there is the 7-Eleven.
Jeez.
And that's pretty talk about stuff and being in the mall.
Well, at least you get your ho-hos and ring-dings, I'm down for that.
Wawa's the best.
Wawa, it took me a while to warm up to the whole Wawa thing because we'd always when we go to English Town, we'd always stop at the Wawa. And after a while, I got to really like it. And now they're making sandwiches like Subway in the Wawa.
Oh, yeah.
You go to the kiosk and you just plug in what you want and you watch, they make it right
breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks.
Yeah.
And every single Wawa I've ever been in here in Florida has a huge display of Entenmann's products.
Oh, okay, cool.
Those
The
really
Wawa-
good, you know,
we
the
are-
yellow donuts with the hard chocolate on the outside.
Yeah.
They got 2
We're-
packs of those. They have all of that.
Right.
We're finally getting a Wawa in the county that I live in.
You'll
They're
appreciate it.
around,
The
but
coffee's
the
delicious.
7-Eleven's the main thing here, and I think they've been fighting and getting the competition because that's all we really have. At one time we had Highs, they're all gone. We had 612s, they're all gone, and all we had were 7-Elevens, and that
Yeah, we have no
Well,
Wawas here in New York.
when you walk into Wawa, you can't even compare them to a 7-Eleven.
It's like a
Yeah, I know.
supermarket. Yeah,
Yeah, there's nothing. First of all, they're all big.
right.
Okay, 7-Eleven, they put it in based on the space that's available. And 7-Eleven is nothing but like aisles, almost like in a supermarket of whatever, candy and pre-made pastry and crap like that, and then some coffee and stuff. But Wawa's completely different.
First job I had before I had working papers, I was working at the 7-Eleven in town by the high school, off the books. I was like 14, and the guy hired me. I'm like, okay, wanted to work.
Yeah, Wawa's awesome.
I grew to like it. I grew to appreciate it because out of desperation, we're getting those sandwiches. I get like fruit cups, and you bring them to Englishtown. It's like, man, I'd eat the dirt on the ground after walking around for like 5 hours. Like, oh, this Wawa stuff is, and you can buy a cooler to put the ice in to put the sandwiches in too. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, good
They've
stuff.
got hot sandwiches, cold sandwiches. They have everything.
Right. And back in the day, years ago, all you had was the prepackaged ones, the pre-made ones. And I'm not a fan of the pre-made sandwiches, not.
Right.
But at Englishtown, I'll eat it. I'll eat anything.
And that's all you'll find at 7-Eleven.
Right. And then years later, they put in, like I said, they'll make those sandwiches like a Subway. And now it's like, wow, now we're eating big, we're eating large.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a good company, and it's funny because I remember the Wawa down the block from Atco when we used to go to the drag strip at Atco.
Right.
And it was tiny. It was a gas station, and it was just a little convenience store,
Uh-huh.
and it was called Wawa.
Jersey blew them all out. They made them all big, putting
Now
gas
they're all-
stations in a lot of them.
They're huge. Yeah. And all the Wawas here have what do you call it? They have non. Oh man, what's the gas with no alcohol?
Non-ethanol.
Non-ethanol,
Nice.
and they have E85.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you roll into a Wawa, you got regular, mid-grade, premium, and then you got ethanol free, and then you got the other stuff, the race kind of stuff.
Idea. Nice.
Yeah. So it's like really cool.
Oh, so
It's totally awesome.
Brian, get a load of this. I told you a couple weeks ago I gave that FJ model I had my wife buy to the Matchbox to the mailman because he loves the FJ. He's left a card in the mailbox today to us. He goes, "Yeah, dear Guarinos." He goes, "Oh, thank you very much. For the FJ, it's great." He goes, "My son loves it." Like, you gave it to your kid. I figured you were going to play it to see your nuke. Like, fuck, give me it back. Fuck. I figured he loves it so much. I figured he'd keep it. No, he gives it to his kid. Like,
Give it to his kid.
Well.
What are you gonna do?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I found another one the other day. I was really surprised.
Wow.
Because everything is empty down here.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere. I mean, it's so beat up. And there's like, I walked through today. Actually, it was kind of funny. They call them shippers, and you'll find them at the grocery store, and they got, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 holes, I think. But they're box, they're a box, and they have holes, and there are 179 cars or 78 cars in there. And it was funny. I could tell somebody had already gone through the box, but I still had to look anyway. And So I was going through, and I came across these right here are just regular treasure hunts. These are like a $8 car. You know, that's what they retail for about $8. You know, and it was funny because on the very bottom corner of the thing, of course, you gotta get down on your hands and knees, or a lot of times if you just reach in, you know. But they had this one. This one was wedged in the box so that you couldn't see it. It was actually wedged up. Right. And this is a super treasure hunt. This is a $75 car.
Wow, really? Nice.
So the guy that rated it before me was just going through and never really looked. But I got to be the old guy to get down on my hands and knees and looking, down. And this thing was just sitting there, just saying, "Here I am." So,
nice score.
That's cool.
You're the greedy old bastard that'll work a little harder to get what you want.
Right.
Unfortunately, and like Ray says, I'm the hard. How hard I got to work to make a nickel. But
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
But it was kind of funny. But
hey, so what's with the Christmas gnome guy? What's his story?
Well, we had the gnomes for sale. We were selling them on the tool truck.
Oh, the truck. Okay.
And it was funny because I gave one to my
This is my gnome.
Oh yeah. And so I gave one of the
hello to my little friend.
Yeah. I had given the gnome to my mom. That gnome was I gave to my mom.
Okay.
And she decorated it up. And that's where I got the picture from. She sent me the picture. She said I decorated my gnome.
Nice. Good job. Tell a good job.
Yeah.
We approve.
So yeah, it's funny. I might have 3 or 4 left. I really thought I was going to sell more, but I didn't realize how many people had the fear of gnomes.
Really?
I mean, I got guys that fucking freaked out. They say, "What the fuck is that?" And I said, "It's a gnome." I'm not coming on they wouldn't even get on the truck.
Really? It's not a clown. Come on.
I'm like, gee,
my niece is deathly afraid of clowns.
Really?
Just nightmares.
I would say some clowns are definitely freaky looking.
Yeah. Well, she says even the funny ones are freaky looking to her.
I've never been scared of them, but look, we grew up with Bozo, so what the hell?
Yeah. So I had one guy, man. And then his kid wanted to buy he bought a gnome to take it into the shop, and that was I got a phone call on that.
Clear
man.
out the
He
place.
was like, "Oh,
send an exorcist."
Yeah.
I mean, so
I didn't realize.
Well, what's the lore behind gnomes that make them scary? I don't understand. You don't know?
I just think they're funny little looking guys.
Yeah,
kind of like Santa's leprechauns.
Yeah, they carry machine guns. So what the hell? Fine by me.
The gnome. I don't know. I thought I had one.
I think they're kind of friendly looking and like the kind of guys you'd want to sit and have a beer with. I mean, they look cool. They always have beards and white hair, so they're old like us. They they look like they're cool.
I got no problem with them.
I never had a problem with them. No.
Yeah.
No.
I don't have a problem with clowns either.
No, me neither.
I don't know.
No, I don't care for clowns.
Like I said, clowns are freaky looking and they can be really kind of off-putting. But I just
I deal with a lot of clowns. I don't need
to get the fuck out of my way, you
Hey,
clown.
Red Skeleton was a clown.
That's right, Red Skeleton was.
He was good.
Yeah.
He was good.
So look, you clown, get the hell out of here. Your ass. Kick your clown ass. What are you gonna chase after me with those freaking shoes? Come on. Come on.
Right?
Yeah, come on.
How fast can you run with those giant shoes?
I don't know.
I dressed up as Roger Rabbit for Halloween one year, and I had those freaking shoes. And I tell you, you could barely walk in them, let alone run. Yeah.
That's why you don't understand. Most clowns carry a 357 or a 40 cal in their pocket.
There you go.
They're not going to chase you. They're just going to shoot you.
All right. That's fair.
I knew I had my gnome.
Yeah. Oh, there he is. Nice.
Oh, nice.
With the
nice
with
impact
the
gun.
With the burgundy tool gun that nobody likes.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think Molly said she was going to put the I don't know if I could show it right, but my my tattoo.
Right.
She was want to put one on my
Yeah.
gnome here.
You know, that's why I thought he looked like a wizard with that hat. That's like a wizard hat, you know? The
Yeah, it
black one.
is.
It's kind of weird. Yeah.
Well, your hat's not. Well, you're not the pointiest. You're not the pointiest guy in the crowd.
No, well, yeah, it's kind of pointy.
Oh.
That's pointy.
Yeah,
kinda
mine's just straight
Don't
up.
paint it
Mine-
white.
Yours is straight. Mine's canted back. I got the Brooklyn lean on mine.
got the
Yeah, he's nobody wears the hat
Brooklyn.
straight. You see that, you wear it down, you rake it down over your brow like Sinatra. You know, you
Oh,
got to go one
boy.
way or the other.
As long as they're not wearing a flat bill baseball hat, then you got nothing to
Yeah.
worry about.
Right.
I can make fun of those guys.
Oh yeah,
My daughter's
Oh.
boyfriend wears hats like that.
really?
I'm like, what is with you? What are you talking about? They go, with the hat.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's a hat?
And then he
They go,
probably
it's not supposed to be flat.
And look,
It's
you're in a
supposed to be
restaurant. Take it
curved.
off.
I go, do you know what these hats were invented for?
Yeah. Keep the
goes,
sun out of your eyes,
"What?"
you idiot.
I go, for baseball players. And you got to curve them.
Right.
Or truck drivers.
I used
You
to
don't wear
sit
'em
there.
flat.
Used to bend them and fold them and stick them in your
Yeah.
pocket to get them to do that. Yeah.
And then
You don't
they,
wear
then they
them.
probably walk. They probably walk out, Johnny, and he goes, "Man, your dad really doesn't like me."
Well,
right.
her boyfriend's still on my list
Yeah.
Yeah.
because of the hissy fit he threw last time. So
Right.
he's walking on thin ice.
Come on now.
I know. Well, he was okay when they came here for Thanksgiving though. So
Okay.
Oh, and then I found my moon one. See.
Oh,
maybe he
cool. That's
figured
nice.
out that. Oh wow,
Oh, comes with a VW too.
Yeah.
Just two VWs. Yeah, busted
that's
a bud.
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
sweet.
This one was really weird because these are the three cars that came with it. Came with the Datsun 510 setup.
Nice.
It's over on this side.
Right.
And then
right.
this is the Porsches, right? And this
Yeah.
is what I'm looking for, really. And it was funny. I walked into a Target. This is the only thing hanging up in the aisle was three of these. Okay, just these three. And I said that's not right because it's two in each case. A case has two of these, two of the Datsun, and one of the Porsches in it. So I told the guy, I said that's at least two cases floating around. You only have three out there. Man, I was like, you got to go back and take a look in that stock room. The guy looked at me like I had lost my mind.
Yeah, right.
He goes, how in the world do you know what comes in the case? And I said, I have ways of knowing. Dude, there's some of these still floating around.
And the guy said, "Look, I think it's time for my break.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
got to go take a break now."
So,
Oddball, weirdo old guy in aisle 5.
Well, maybe everything was out and somebody came and bought them before.
That was the other thing. Maybe somebody bought up all the dots.
these, no. I
Right,
know the
they have none of that.
510s. The 510s are popular, and the moons don't stick around. Anything these old Volkswagens, these T1s go for. I mean, they are hot. These things. The only peg warmers are going to be these Porsches.
Peg warmers. That's cool.
That's the only one I would buy would be the moons. I could care less.
Peg
about the one
warming
on either
Porsche.
side.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So I was like, man, I know there's got to be more in there, but I don't tell you.
Let me
And
in your stock room. I'll find them.
Yeah, the manager, the lady that runs the place, she was off this week, so I couldn't.
You're
My
your
inside
connection.
source.
Your connection was out.
Yeah, my connection was out. I was kind of upset. I was like, come on, man.
Come on,
What do you
man.
mean-
Nancy
what do you
hooks
mean
me
you
up.
take a vacation? Nobody needs to take vacation. You got to work.
Come on, Nancy hooks me up, man. Give a brother a break. Help me out. Come on. Let me in that stock room. I'm not gonna touch nothing else.
Yeah. And I did finally find this one. Yeah, this is a super too. This is big money too. I found the 55.
Oh,
Oh,
that's nice.
okay. Yeah.
Black with a
hardtop.
blue
Nice.
panel.
Yeah.
Mm.
This one, this is the first super treasure hunt for 22. This is the new this is the new logo.
Does Hot
What's
Wheels
different
make any
about
of the cars from Hollywood Nights?
Yeah.
Do they?
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a series
wagon?
of the premiums like this.
Yeah.
Big money.
That would be
Big
cool.
money, dude.
To have the
Big
Woody and have
The Pie
what do you
Wagon.
call it? The Pie Wagon,
65
and Project
GTO.
X, and the rail job.
Upstairs in my pool room, they did one on American Graffiti also. They had 55 and John's 32. That's one of my favorite. That's
What
one
about
of my
that
favorite
Impala?
sets.
That was that a
58.
The 58 Impala, and there was one more car they did one more car.
The Vespa.
Actually, if they redid, they could probably redo that set, and they'd probably do a Vespa.
Right.
Yeah,
with
Vespa's cool.
And there was so many cars in that movie. How do you? Well, I would do the Pharaoh's car. I'd do the Merc, the chopped Merc. You know.
But the premiums. I don't have my premium sets over here. A lot of the premium, like of course, supposedly now they said that they weren't going to do any more of the Fast and Furious because they've done so many. There are so many of the Fast and Furious.
See, you're like me, man. You really need to have some grandkids so you can pass that stuff down.
Yeah,
I'm waiting, man. I'm like, come on, let's go.
So
Fast and Furious is burned out.
That was bullshit.
Yeah, but the only one, my favorite, the only one that I really liked out of the Fast and Furious was towards the end was that wide body Charger with the mid engine. Because Hot Wheels did a really good job. I mean, that's a really nice looking car piece.
It is a really cool car.
They put a lot of R&D into their cars.
That car was that SEMA.
Yeah.
That and then the one from before that with the off-road version.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, I didn't. That's
giant off-road tires.
Yeah.
That car was cool in person.
Yeah, I can imagine the diecast looked okay, but that's not my style.
The real car was. I was like, wow! If I was going to build a car / truck, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't.
Truck behavior, John.
I have to go to the dealership. I keep getting.
You're having that problem with the. You're having that message,
that
right?
message about idling. Yeah.
Right.
It's like the thing wants to go into what do you call it?
Limp
mode, yeah.
Or regen.
Yeah, regen.
No, I mean it's running fine. It's just that I get this message that shows up on the dashboard that says idle engine to cool.
Right.
The motor's not overheating.
Right.
It's a software issue. There's something weird going on.
But that's gasoline, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
My wife's Cruise gets that message. It was first time. It was the thermostat. It's electronic thermostat. No more wax pill. It's electronically controlled. They can vary the opening, ever so slightly by electronic, and it's an expensive thermostat. The first one I bought was I think a Dorman part, and that thing failed like a Dorman part does in like 2 weeks, and I had to go to the dealership and buy a GM. I had to buy an original Delco.
I don't know. The temperature gauge says it's beautiful. Yet every now and then it's like weird, like today I pulled into the parking lot and I put it in park, and as soon as I put it in park, that message came up on the dashboard. And I'm like, I look at the gauge, I'm like, there's nothing wrong here. You shut the truck off and then you turn the truck back on and the message is gone.
Yeah.
So I was talking to a mechanic friend of mine, Glenn, and he goes, I think it's a software issue. He goes, did that thing just kind of recently update in the last couple of months? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, it's probably a software issue.
Ooh, sweet.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, the GTO. There you go. Super fast.
That looks like it's got some big tires in the back.
GTOs are following you, Brian.
I don't know what's going on.
They're all over.
Need to move away from that Ford into the GM world.
Sunday is going to be Ford World on the show. We got Marty Shore from
I can't wait.
Cars Magazine, and Billy G is going to sit in with us because this guy Bill Kolb. I said Ed on the show because I couldn't remember his name. Bill Kolb had passed away. He was they gave him a GT40 back in like the 60s.
Wow.
Marty said it's on our website. If you look at our website, we put some pictures up. And what he did is he called Marty. He says, "Come on," because he was editor of Cars Magazine at the time in the city. He goes, "I got this car, and we're gonna go take it for a drive." He goes, "Let's go meet me outside or wherever." He comes down. There's this GT40 sitting on the streets of Manhattan, He says, "Oh shit, where we going?" Like the track. He goes, "No." He goes, "Listen, they said this was a road car. We're driving it on the road. They drove it through Manhattan, through the boroughs. It's like in the six. I mean, that looked like an F-40 in the '60s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
And they just bombed
That
around.
was like that was like a UFO, man. People see
Yeah.
that coming, they were like, "What the f is that?"
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So that was
That's
pretty
cool.
cool. So he's gonna tell some stories.
And this
Marty-
is my other new favorite.
Oldsmobile? Oh,
It's a
Vista Cruiser.
It's a Vista Cruiser.
Nice. Nice. Excellent. That's good.
I saw that and I was like, "Holy shit! Look at that wood grain panel and everything."
Gotta have that. Yeah. You gotta have the Vista Cruiser.
My buddy Evan just bought a station wagon, a Mercury station wagon.
Yeah.
It's like a real special one. Go look on the Revan Evan YouTube.
I was gonna say I see his YouTube stuff. I'm trying to remember if I saw a station wagon.
He bought it up in Michigan.
Okay.
They just shipped it down. It came yesterday.
Right.
It's a station wagon. It's like a kind of like a yellowish greenish color.
What year?
It's old.
Oh yeah.
It's got a 4-speed in it.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah. 4-speed with a bench seat.
Tom Cotter was driving around in a Ford
It's
Galaxy wagon.
3-row. It's got the reverse seat in the back.
Yeah.
And the tailgate drops down like a pickup truck or opens like a door.
Right, like a door.
Yeah.
Cotter was driving around in like a 68 Galaxy with a 428 4-speed, buckets and a console and power windows.
Oh boy.
And he sold it. Some guy who offered to buy it. He made him a deal. I already put it on Bring a Trailer, and the guy, he says, "Yeah, time to move it down the road." But that was a nicely optioned car. It was all original.
Yeah.
It's
We had a guy in school.
When Mercury was making shit in the 70s when they were making wagons, what was the name of them?
Well, the Marauder was always their hot car.
Murata and more. Yeah, I don't know what would be a big.
I don't know what else they'd call their wagon.
You know what the weird part is? Because he's like, "Oh, dude, you got to come by the house." When you look at the front of the car, it's got like a real kind of a bulge in the middle of the grill, and it looks like it's got 4 headlights, but there's only 2 headlights there.
So why does it look like 4?
Because there's 4 rings, like it should have 4 headlights, but it looks like the 2 high beams were removed or something for some reason. I don't know why.
Maybe put a ram air system in it or something. Took out the high beams.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, Mercury made the Montego also.
Montego, yeah. And,
was there a Montego wagon? That's what this would be then.
And the Grand Marquis, Billy G.
Grand Marquis.
The Grand Marquis, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they weren't. The Grand Marquis was more of a luxury barge. It wasn't a hot rod. The Montego or the Marauder you could get usually with the better engine.
It's got a 351 with a 4-speed.
Okay.
Can't be that old.
No.
Yeah.
Probably late 60s.
Yeah.
It's a 60s or 70s one.
Right.
Yeah, we had a guy in high school, called him the Wagon Master. He had a LTD wagon, a white one that had a 428 in it with a 4-speed, same thing.
Right.
And
why would you buy a 4-speed station wagon?
But he was the wagon master, man. He was a wagon master, man. That car.
Well, I mean, the car was like totally cool. So Evan's like, I gotta have this car.
Sure.
You know? I just think it's awesome. But I think back to like when the car was brand new, somebody ordered it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Well,
like,
yeah. I mean, why the guys
buy
buy 3 on the tree instead of going for the automatic? You know, it's like to save money. They were cheap.
I think it's a
like,
totally cool car.
It's like the cheap bastard that bought my Mustang, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, he spends the money for the premium 4-barrel motor, the A motor, right?
Right.
The 225 horsepower, and turns around and puts a 3-speed in it. Doesn't want to spend the $56 for a 4-speed. You know what I'm saying? Or better off, you don't want to spend the extra 20-something for disc brakes, and you got drum brakes all the way around. You know what I'm saying?
People didn't trust and believe in disc brakes yet.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. The funniest thing is I always laugh when I look down the sheet on my car. I mean, on my build sheet, and it's like for $56 you could have had a 4-speed, and instead he puts a 3-speed in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Here.
Oh yeah. It's like a
Oh, yeah.
69.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a 4 headlight car. They probably ram aired it.
It's probably got ram air in it.
Because that scoop probably is not original, but that's a sweet looking car. It's a big one. Okay.
That scoop.
Oh, it's got bucket seats too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought it had a bench seat in the front.
Magnum 500s?
Yep.
No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah.
Or are they or are those
I don't,
Keystones?
they're the Ford wheels.
Okay.
Yeah, they're Magnum 500s.
Evan is still such a New Jersey guy.
I know.
Oh, tinted windows.
Look, it's got the little like wing
The air
on the top,
spoiler,
you
yeah.
know? Yeah, the air spoiler.
Huh.
Nice.
That's crazy.
Yeah, those Ford taillights.
And it's got all the paperwork, the original invoice.
Right.
I mean, everything.
I'll have to watch that video.
Yeah, it's on his Facebook page, and I'm sure it's going to have it on his.
Yeah, I didn't see it on YouTube, and I was just cruising through that.
I'm sure he'll
before.
put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, do you know what kind of Mercury that is?
Oh,
I can't.
It says it right there.
Says it right on the side. I can't make it out.
I can't make it out either. The nose to me says Montego.
That's what I think it is. I think it's a Montego wagon.
Yeah, crank down window.
No, damn, that rear window cranks down way too easy.
Yeah, tell me about it. Wait till that thing falls in the bottom and shatters.
Wow, spare parts. Look at that.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's got that seat, that
right.
rear-facing seat.
Yeah.
Right.
Came with a whole bunch of parts and everything.
Yeah, nice.
But it runs. It's a running car. It's like
Sure.
restored and in nice shape.
Come on, dude. Open the hood. Let's see. I want to see those ram air hoses.
Yeah.
Dual door. Yeah. My 94 Caprice had a door like that, went open like a door or a hatch. That was cool. Whatever he's saying.
That's Abe.
I can't make the side.
No, almost. It was close.
It was close.
Wow, look at the gauges on the dash. That's cool. Molded into the dash. That's very cool. Yeah.
Man, look at that.
Wood grain. Crank
Center
windows.
console.
Yeah.
It's got a T-handle shifter.
That's just like like Cotter's, but his was just a regular Ford. This is a little more upscale.
Smile. Look at that smile. He's already like, what am I doing?
Abe's a real good guy. This dude's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's got a Beamer with a Ford motor in it.
God, what does that say? I can't.
It almost like it says Cyclone from
it. I know.
That's not a Cyclone. Yeah, Cyclone.
Cyclone.
It does say Cyclone.
A Mercury Cyclone.
Maybe that was some weirdo, because it says Mercury on the tailgate. Maybe that was some weirdo special option. Or then again, maybe the guy just put Cyclone badges on it.
Yeah.
That's the engine call out on the fender. The hood scoop is, I don't think that's original.
Yeah, it's factory Ford.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a factory Ford hood.
So it's got yellow headlights, or his alternator is
no, that's a true 6014 beam.
The spoiler doesn't look too original either. That looks like it was a NASCAR piece. I could see where he was attracted to that car.
God, look at that. It's crazy.
Nice.
And it's got the molded bucket seats.
Right.
Huh. You gonna open the hood? Come on,
Come on, let's go.
Yeah. Let's quit teasing.
Yeah, there's that shifter.
4-speed alert. Here we go.
There we go. Come on.
Pop it. No ram air hoses.
No
AC.
ram air hoses.
351 4-barrel. The size of that compressor.
I know. Holy shit.
You run a small house off of that thing. Wow.
Yep, definitely. That's how we used to roll. Scott, you remember Uncle Jack's LTD, the brown one? I used to love that thing.
He's got the.
Yeah, Bill says looks like it's modeled after the Mercury Eliminator.
Yeah.
That's a wagon, yeah.
That's right. That's a Eliminator hood.
Yeah. I like the nose. I like the dash too with the gauges.
with the cutouts.
And look, not even cracked. Oh, someone took the lighter, so they can't lick it, see if it's hot.
Before I call out before, please check out our YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel.
YouTube, okay, I'll check it out on YouTube tomorrow.
This is the machine right here. Magnum 500 wheels, solid car. We picked it up from my buddy Scott Wesley. Just had it delivered today. We wanted to drive it back, but being that it's winter, we thought it would
Oh, come on, Winter.
Oh, winter.
Yeah,
Shit, the grass is still green. Come on now.
Well, no, he's in Florida, but
he's Florida.
he didn't want to drive it from Michigan.
The guy's from New Jersey. Come on.
we were little kids. Yeah, surfboard.
He can't be that
surfboard.
soft.
We need a name.
But it's straight and clean. It's really nice.
We'll have to change the license plate to Pussy Wagon.
Mr. Softy.
Muff
Good
dive
use
like
of
on.
those in high school.
There's the garage. You can see what else is in the garage. It's Diane's Camaro.
Oh, a second-gen Camaro. Screw you, Evan.
What do you think of that, Scott?
That's what I want sitting. That's what I want back in my garage. How long's had that car?
Oh, she's had that since she lived in Jersey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Does it ever go out?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was 4 headlights for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe they're gun ports. That's cool.
Pizza or something like that.
Yeah, it's a really cool
Yeah, I'll
car.
check that out on YouTube.
Yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, she's had that Camaro forever.
Nice.
Really, really long time. It's got a LT1 350 in it.
Right.
It's nice.
Okay, well, I'm going to go change your propane tanks, dear.
Change to propane tanks.
Yeah, we're out of propane, and if I don't get one changed, she won't have a hot bath.
Oh.
And I won't live till tomorrow morning.
Okay, well, you be careful. Don't light the match.
Isn't that how you test for a leak?
Yeah. You just better hope it has enough pressure to blow the flame out first, right?
Hey, I terrified a sergeant in the military one time when I was young airman. I doing something with propane, and I pulled out a cigarette lighter, and he liked to come unglued. Hey, I'm dumb, but I am not stupid. Later, guys.
So
All
long,
right,
Tom
take care.
Carroll.
Be safe. Have a good holiday.
Oh, yeah. Merry Christmas to all of you old buzzards.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks.
What are you boys doing for Christmas? Staying home?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all. Oh, yeah, we're all. Everybody's all freaked out about the new situation. So
Yeah.
Not freaked out at all. Just staying home. As a matter of fact, tomorrow we're going to the casino.
Oh, cool.
Barb's like, "What do you want to do for Christmas Eve?" She goes, "I don't really feel like cooking." I'm like, "Make reservations. Let's go to the casino and eat like pigs and gamble." And she's
There you
like,
go. All right. All right.
yeah.
and then Christmas Day we're going to the kids' house. She said she's cooking.
Oh, yeah. Huh?
She's like, "Mommy, you cooked all of these years. I'm gonna do it now."
Wow. Okay.
So Barb's like, "Oh, fine with me."
Yeah.
That's when you walk in that door and see a bucket from KFC or a box of Popeyes.
Nah, she's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
you
can
know,
cook.
I'm really happy. My older daughter has become what my wife isn't. She became a baker, so she's making like cheesecakes and pies.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
and she knows, Dad likes this, Dad likes. So she'll bring over like 4 pies and leave them. Now I got to eat 4 freaking pies
There you
because
go.
no one else eats it. And I'm going to throw them out. Can't do that's a sin. Come on.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm like, now I'm eating. I got like butterscotch, which is my favorite. Then there's a cheesecake, and there's like an apple pie or a cherry. Well, like I'll just have like give me a piece of each, like every night.
It was it was over Thanksgiving. It was right before Thanksgiving, and I have one of next to this body shop I go to. We have one of these food handout places.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
a kitchen.
yeah, it's a food, yeah. And I was always amazed on the food. I mean, the cars would line up. There'd just be cars down the street, around the corner, up, and they would have these shopping carts, and I guess it was on how many people you had in the family or whatever, because I mean these things are packed. I mean the food is just unbelievable, you know.
Mhm.
And I was like, so I was talking to the manager at the body shop. I was like, man, it really just burns me seeing the, because we got a Mercedes pulling up. There's some dude in a Mercedes, and an Infinity and all this crap, BMW, and they're just food. And he goes, "You want to see the worst part?" And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Come here." And they had these, they were like 6x6 containers with wheels on them. And he goes, "This is the food that's donated from Walmart and Shoppers and Costco and all this stuff. Over $1 million a week of food's being donated to this place." And he said they can't even give it out fast enough. They can't even, they actually throw away stuff.
Wow.
Because they can't, there's so much food. Of course, I know they do it for tax write-off. It's all, you got to do that tax stuff. You got to play that money game. Again, it all comes down to this crap. This is what, everything's about this crap. And, but going along the line. So he goes, "You need some pumpkin pies?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He had there was a container there of these 18-inch pumpkin pies.
Well, that's like the Costco ones.
Yeah, from Costco's.
Yeah.
I said, he goes, they can't give them. They have 3 or 4 of these containers that they can't even go through. Wow. I walked out of there with 10 of these fucking pies.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. And I'm thinking the whole time, what the fuck am I going to do with 10 pies?
Can you freeze them?
I mean, yeah, well, I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do with 10 pies?
Right.
If you just keep them in the refrigerator, they'll last forever.
So the funny part was I put them on the tool truck.
Oh.
Well, I had guys that come out to the tool truck, and they're like, "Hey, is that a pie?" "Yeah, happy Thanksgiving." I was fucking handing these.
You'd be selling it for $5 a slice.
I was like, "What the fuck?" So I still came home with like
buy $100 worth of tools and get a pie.
Yeah,
right,
well, they were like, "Brian's handing out pies," So I'm like handing these pies out. So I still came home with like 3 of them. My wife goes, "What the fuck are you going to do with all these pies?" I said, "I guess we're going to eat pie."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
And literally, me and Brianna sat there. We had this 18-inch pie, and we're at one end with one fork, and she's at the other, and we're eating this pie. And I'm like, "There's just no effing way we're going to do this." And Brianna goes, "I can't eat
so much pumpkin pie."
Yeah, I'm like, "Oh my God."
After a while, cinnamon gets to you.
I showed some of the guys at work my trick. We went out to a department lunch yesterday at the Chinese buffet, and after we all had our food, everybody's getting dessert. So they got the soft serve ice cream machine. Yeah. So I come back and I sit down. The guy, he's looking at me. The guy sitting across from me, he's like, "How'd you get that?" I'm like, "What do you mean? It's ice cream." He goes, "No, well, by the machine they put these little plastic cups for I go over to the soup
You went there with a soup bowl.
I take the soup bowl, right, and I'm like filling it up. I said, "Dude, they're not going to stop me." I said, "I want my ice cream."
Then after a while, did Charlie Chan come by and go, "You gotta leave"?
Oh, I tell
You've
you,
been here for an hour.
I actually made sure I skirted them so they didn't see me, because they'll stop you. Like, "No, you can't use that." Like, "Yeah, watch me." Watch me.
I forget that comedian that did that. He was a big, heavy guy.
The big white, I can't think of his name. I was watching. I follow, and man,
you gotta leave.
You gotta leave now.
Yeah,
you've been here for an hour.
That's
dude is hilarious.
What's that
guy
guy's
was
name?
Big. That comedian was huge. That guy had to be like 500 pounds.
Yeah.
Louis Anderson?
No.
It wasn't Louis Anderson, but he was bigger than Louis Anderson.
Yeah, I don't know if I can find him.
Ralphie. Yeah.
Ralph Mouth.
No.
I don't know him.
It was Ralphie something was his name.
Yeah. That's it.
I tell you, man.
I don't know Ralph.
If he gets the last name, you'll know. Ay, ay, ay.
God, what was
Yeah.
that guy's name? Ralph.
Ralph Cifarello
Who's that?
from The Sopranos.
Oh,
Ralphie May.
Ralphie May. That's the guy.
Yeah, I don't know him.
Yeah. Look him up on YouTube.
Okay.
He's hilarious. He's no longer with us.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ralphie May. That's right. That's the guy.
I added the cream and it didn't change color.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. I know him by seeing him. Yeah.
Different races and finding out new things. I was recently in Florida and I went and had some Cuban food. You ever have Cuban food? Get it in my mouth. So good. So good. Them empanadas. Oh.
He was.
Little tip for you though.
He's the one that was talking about the gay pride in New York. He goes, if you can suck a dick, you can take one for the team or something like that. I mean, he goes, I'm not going to spend 4 hours. I can't get around traffic. You got to take up the whole fucking road. You know, I tell you, man, that guy.
Wow.
He was funny. That's an old video because his hair was real dark there.
Yeah, he's like, take one for the team. You can suck a dick, but you can't take one for the team. Oh my god! Now you girls know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Oh, yeah, he was.
People have always bugged older people.
I tell you, man. Ralphie, man. He was on like he was on like Star Search. Was it Star Search or
The Ed McMahon show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
yeah, the
Star
one with Ed
Search.
McMahon. Yeah.
I think it was Star. What was that called? Star Search? No, Search. What was that?
No,
Star
I think
Search?
there's Star Search. Yeah.
I think I mean, that was like one of the first times when he broke out, but he was super clean on that. But I mean, he's like really, I mean, he was kind of course, all during all that stuff during the 80s was the shock of everything. You know, look at Andrew Dice Clay, and
Eddie
all
Murphy.
those,
Yeah.
Eddie, all that
I was
stuff.
just listening to. I was going through satellite channels the other day, and it was some comedy channel, and they had Dice, but it was like the Dice bit from like the 90s.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I forgot it. I bought a CD. I have the recording, but I was like, wow, I forgot about this.
Yeah. Could you imagine? I mean, you imagine that stuff today? I mean, geez, that would never. I mean, none of that. Well, shit, half the stuff wouldn't fly. What goes on today, anyway?
Little
So.
Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey.
Yo,
Yeah.
That's when he was hilarious.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that was. I don't know, man. Oh well. Well, all I gotta say is tomorrow. I tell you, today was such a cluster, man. I left the house early. Oh, of course, I was up late. I had to unload that box. I had to build that welding. I sold a.
Oh, right, the cart. Yeah.
I had a cart that I had to put together and get the welding stuff all. I put I had a whole. Got that all in the truck, tied down, everything put together, and I didn't. There was no school today, so I was up and out.
Oh, no. You know what? It was this guy, John Panette.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. He's another big boy.
He's the guy that did the buffet thing.
Yeah, no, Ralphie May did one too.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
Because I know Ralphie May because I've seen the one.
I got a feeling Clay Coon could do a pretty good buffet bit too, because I don't think he's too light.
What the hell's with all these commercials on YouTube?
Oh, I know. And the bigger the channel, the more commercials.
Yeah,
they monetize it.
Yeah.
But I got all the way down to my first stop, and I came in the back way, and I get to my first stop, take care of him, went to the second stop, and the guy goes, "What, you didn't answer your phone?" And I said, "You never called me." He goes, "I called you." No phone. I came all the way back home.
Oh
my
wow.
God, man.
The volume's kind of low, John. Can you crank that up?
park there.
Oh,
When I take the parking space
You
and I
know
love
what?
There
having
you
my
go.
picture up. Watch people at McDonald's. They decide what they want when they get to the front of the line. That makes me crazy. What were you doing in line? Your tax returns? I knew what I wanted before I parked the car. People stare at a McDonald's menu.
That's true. He's right.
It's McDonald's. It's the same stuff since you were 6 years old. Ask me anything, left to right, right to left. What do you want to know? Get out of the line!
There's Sam Kinison there.
Yeah.
Get out of the line. People are reading the menu. They have pictures of the food. Just point.
That is funny.
Another one. I like Starbucks.
You know, that's always been the best kind of comedy. I mean, George Carlin did it. That's situational, the stuff that you see every day.
Yeah.
The owner, he got pissed. I mean, he was rude though. He'd come out every hour.
Every hour.
Son of a bitch, still here. Look, he go again. He started screaming at me. You're going now. You're here 4 hours. Why you here 4 hours? You not come here anymore. Why you have spare rib? You're so big. Eat vegetable.
He does a good Chinese guy.
yeah.
Eat broccoli.
Yeah, look him up, John Panette.
That's funny.
I got to put a new screen thing on my phone. Look, I destroyed it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like all cracked and beat up.
Yeah, I dropped mine again.
Okay, yeah. You need a case on there, man. You know,
No,
I got
have one of
the
those battery
OtterBox
cases.
on mine. I dropped mine the other day. We were outside. I was taking a picture at night. We came out of a restaurant, and I had something in my hands. I went to take a picture with the phone, but it kind of fumbled and just whack right on the ground. And my door's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Hey, I got the OtterBox. I'm not worried." And sure enough, not a scratch on it. You know,
I had mine in I had a phone issue. I had mine in an OtterBox for a year. I mean, ever and ever. And then I had a phone problem, and I had to go to the backup phone. So I took the chip out and put it in the other phone and had it for a while. And I got the phone figured out, fixed, blah blah blah. Never put it back in the box.
That's your mistake.
And it was funny because everybody would say, because this is like a 6S. This is old. This is old as shit. This is a pretty old phone. This is a 6. And they were like, "Oh my God, your phone's so perfect." It's like, how old is that phone? And it doesn't have a mark in it. And I'm like, "Oh yeah. Well, you know, fat white guy. Why would I be hard with it? You know?"
Right.
So I went like months with no problem. All of a sudden, one day I dropped it like 4 fucking times, and it just it cracked. I mean, I destroyed it.
I heard on the radio this morning they were talking about. I kind of caught the middle of the story, but somebody posted a picture that got like 200,000 views in like an hour, and it was like of an iPod, not a Nano. It was the one before it, the square one. Because I actually get over here, you rat bastard. I had saved this from my daughter. This was like her. This is, I think, the Nano. It's the smaller one.
Yeah.
And I was going to use it in the garage, for music, but it ends up that the port that you put the plug in is bad. So the one before this, I remember, was squarer. It was a white square job, and I think that's what it was. Because it got like 200,000 hits in an hour, just from the styles. They called it an antique, iPod. Like antique was from like 2004.
Yeah.
Jesus, what are we? If that's an antique.
So, but I had one guy, he goes, because he said, He goes, "Oh my God, it's the white face S6S or whatever." I was like, "Dude, I don't know. My daughter picked it out." And he goes, "Man, you want to sell that?" Because it was immaculate, and I was like, "Well, I don't think he wants it now."
Yeah,
it still works. The only problem is they keep the only thing I guess the only reason why I didn't really put it back in because they said that the next update you were going to lose part. They were going to start phasing these phone, phasing options or stuff out on the phone. Of course, all I really do is, I just use it for texting. Texting or phone.
That's it.
Imagine that.
Can you
I
imagine?
use mine to make phone calls, texts, and then there's a couple of apps I use on there.
People forget
my banking app, and then I have an app for the lighting systems that we use on the aquariums. They're Bluetooth, so you just flip on the Bluetooth, and it finds the lights where you are.
Right.
Just hit the button, and then you can program them, put them on manual.
Oh, they got to start programming the LED lights. Can start Bluetooth and those. Light on, light dim.
Please,
light, where are you?
Please,
I'm under a BMW.
No, it's all right. You gotta.
I'm going down the I-40. Help me.
Yeah, it was crazy. Today was crazy, and I was hoping to get a little bit more done because I know tomorrow is going to be a disaster. So,
tomorrow I got an easy day.
Will everybody be working tomorrow? Or will some of the shops be?
Well, it's a hit or miss because I had a handful of places say that they're going to be closed.
Right.
And then I had a handful that said they were going to be working half day.
Right, half day, yeah.
And then I had some that said, "Oh no, we're here for whatever, we're going." And it always turns out the place that said that there was going to be closed will be open, and the places that was supposed to be open will be closed.
And the ones that are there may be doing like parties, a Christmas party, half day,
right?
Whatever. So
that's
good.
The last thing they want to do is pay you.
No, you want to get them when they're juiced up.
Yeah, well, or I want to gain about 15 pounds,
right?
Because everybody wants it for me to eat something, which is fine to a point, but man, it's just like, dude, this is my third dozen of chocolate chip cookies. I got to get going,
Yeah.
So
I was over at the UD for their Christmas party on Saturday night, and my friend Dougie, they're at the one end. They're all like our age. I think actually Doug's like 68, but the other end they're all the older guys that are in their 70s and 80s.
Wow.
And they've been there a long time, so they get all the food. So sitting down, Dougie's like, "Yo, get something to eat, I'm like, "All right, sandwiches and all that. I get something to eat." And he's like, "Take another one. And I'm sitting down. "Did you finish? Get more to eat. Come on." I'm like, "You're like a freaking Italian mother or Jewish mother." I'm like, "Christ." I'm like, "Doug, you're hanging over me like a freaking hawk. How much do you think I eat?" It's like, I'll get some salads, It's like, take it easy.
Yeah. It's funny.
Eat more, eat.
I walked into my Honda shop and they were like, "We had breakfast this morning. We have leftovers. What do you want?" And I'm like,
"Leftover.
Well, I haven't had lunch yet. I guess so." So, it was great. It was, but like I said, I was like, man, I was really hoping you guys were having pizza today.
Yeah.
So, which actually helped. I'm glad I ate because at one of my shops, there's a phenomenal taco truck that I usually hit. But what happened, I got to a shop and one of my old customers, he's like, "Hey, I need a few things and blah, blah, blah." And I was like, okay. And of course he came out and I know he was like nonstop, which is not a problem, but I'm like, man, I gotta get back to work. But, he did walk off the truck with, $900. So.
Hey, talk to him.
Yeah,
that's fine.
So
yeah,
but I was like, man, it was still, I still had about 4 or 5 more shops I really needed to hit. So I don't know. I might combine. I might try to. My route's kind of close where I was today and tomorrow.
You cruise by. If it's closed, just keep going and hit the next. You'll probably make some time up tomorrow. You don't want to be out all day anyway, right? I mean, you want to be out there all day.
No, because we're supposed to go over to my mom's for
Okay.
Christmas Eve. So
Sure.
I got a whole bunch of stuff I didn't wrap yet.
I got more wrapping too, because we were just out buying today. So and I'm wrapping these freaking frying pans, everything with a freaking handle and shit. So I'm like, yeah, I'm creating things and cutting boxes and doing all sorts of crazy ass shit.
yeah, frying pan.
Yeah.
So gotta get the old credit card machine geared up, ready for late night.
Roll it.
Got that done on mine already.
Yeah. So
Hey, did you ever run a card for a guy, and then you know how usually you run it and then it gets approved, or you run it and it gets declined, and there's a couple of reasons that sometimes my thing will tell me why it's declined, over limit. But then yesterday I ran a card, and it came back as partial authorization. Do you agree? It was like $140 bill, and it was willing to authorize like $38.50. I guess that's the limit that he had left on his card.
Oh, really? I've never had that. No, that's crazy.
So I declined that one, and then when I ran it today, the whole thing went through.
Huh?
So it was kind of weird, I was like, I don't want to put this guy's card on the limit. And I want to get paid.
Yeah.
Because then I was like, well, then what do I got to do? Do I have to run it again for that amount minus what it's already given me? I was like,
was that on debit? Was that a debit or a credit card?
No, it was a MasterCard.
Yeah, I know, but was it a debit card or a credit card?
No, it's a credit card.
Okay, because if it was his check card, like his check card, and he were running it. Sometimes they only have like X amount of money per day, and that's probably what he was at his limit. Like
maybe that's what it was.
Like like my check card, I have like a $500 limit a day type thing where it runs. So it could have been on that because because when you run debit, you pay less in fees versus credit card. That's why when you run that. And if it's a debit card, but the problem is if he has like a $200, limit per day, and he's hit that, it won't go through. And that's why sometimes then I switch it over to credit card, and then a bank it'll go through because it's on his credit card side of it. But then he gets pissed off because he pays that fee. He pays that fee, and he's like, "Why did you hit me like that?" And I was like, "Dude, I gotta get paid, man. I can't sit around and wait for you to have credit on your or your amount."
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can sit around and watch me take out the garbage.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So,
they changed ours to only one day instead of twice a week.
You're not paying enough taxes down there.
Shit.
That's
and we're still. I know. It used to be 2 days. Now it's one. And
I got 2 days plus recycling. I know that word doesn't exist.
We have recycling in 2 days. We used to have 2 days of trash.
I have garbage 2 days. I have recycling 1 day, and I have lawn and debris.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever crap you cut down, that's on Wednesday. So they come here 4 times a week.
I didn't think it was going to really matter much because like I said, it's. But man, we're like in the second week of this, and I'm like, I really fucking hate this. Only having they gave us an extra trash can. I thought they were crazy. I was like, man, we will never use this much. Man, we've already filled. I can't believe I've filled up the 2 trash cans. I told everybody to stop making trash.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Well,
I'm pissed off because now we have those big giant things they lift them up and dump them.
Yeah.
Automatically, one guy.
Well, that's what we switched to. They sent us a saying about you got to make sure they have like these arrows painted out on the trash cans because they got to be facing the street. They can't be anything. We got to be 4 feet from anything. So I used to set everything over by the mailbox. Now I got to set it on the opposite side of the mailbox. I mean, of the driveway. And it's, it's because they got one guy now out.
I've got this big giant, like brick red garbage pail now on wheels. Whereas I used to, I have 2 regular garbage pails, and I would put those 55-gallon drum liners in them. So that way, when you go to pull them out, even when they're full, you still got enough
room
that you could tie a knot, you know? And if I had 4 bags of garbage because there was a party, it wouldn't be a big deal. I put them out at the curb, and the garbage guys come and they grab the bags and they throw them in the back. Not a big deal. Then all of a sudden they decided to change after all these years to this like municipal deal. So they got one guy that comes by in a truck that automatically tips it. So now you got to stuff everything into the garbage pail. And if it doesn't fit into the garbage pail, you either got to cut it up into smaller pieces or wait, leave it in the garage until the next pickup. I hate it, you know, and I got to wheel that thing out at like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we still got crews of guys, 3 guys on a truck to come out and do it all by hand.
Yeah, that's what we had, and now they went to this automated crap. And
right.
If I don't put it out there at like 7 o'clock in the morning on pickup day, because you never, sometimes they come at like 7:15, sometimes they come at 11 o'clock.
Oh wow!
So I can't. I got to do it in the morning. I just got to roll out of bed and go take the garbage out because I don't want to keep
do it
it
the
out
night
in the
before,
middle of
so
the
the
night.
drunk will come down the road and take it out.
Well, it's on the driveway. You keep it on
That's
the
why I
driveway.
started doing it the night before, because sometimes these guys are coming at 6 a.m. or 6, especially in the summer, because the sooner they get done, the sooner they're done for the day. So they're out there early. So I just put it out the night before and don't worry about it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You all be safe.
All right,
Watch
boys.
out.
Yes, sir.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We'll be out. We'll be talking to Marty on Sunday with Billy. So for Lewis Lee, Ray Guarino, Matt Goman, Brian, and Chassis John, Papa Squirrel's out there somewhere too. We'll see you again.
With the
next
propane.
week.
We haven't heard the explosion, have you?
Right. No, we haven't. So,
So he's good.
we'll be back next week and we'll do it again. So let me
Awesome.
end the broadcast at where's the time up here? I don't see how
3:06.
3:06.
Why aren't I seeing that?
It's right
It's
over
over
your
you.
head.
It's right over your head. 3:06. Look up.
Oh, there
Ray,
in
look up.
the big red banner. Yeah, duh. It's getting late. I'm getting tired. All right, so we'll end the broadcast.